Housekeeping matters before we get started. Excuse me. These are official court proceedings. These are public proceedings. We are streaming live on YouTube. These are official court proceedings. You must adhere to and abide by professional courtroom decorum. So that means present yourself as if you were physically in the courthouse. So that means no driving, no drinking, no smoking, no eating. You can't be lying in bed, can't be at the dentist's office, you can't be at the doctor's office. Please be mindful of your background noise and your background environment. Find a place where you're comfortable, be seated, and be
McBurney, I
still.
see you. If you don't mind, just giving the court an explanation of what you wish the court to do or to how the court should assist.
Good morning, Your Honor. So first, let me say I'm not a litigator, and so I don't normally appear in court except as an expert witness. So forgive me if I misstep. So in this situation, these parties, Mr. Doherty and Ms. Doherty, were divorced long ago in 2013. I'm not a divorce attorney, and I was not involved in the divorce. One of the attorneys contacted me during the negotiation of the divorce to ask about the retirement benefits. Mr. Doherty is retired from the school system and is a participant in the teachers retirement system of Georgia pension. And at the time I explained that that pension is not divisible by quadro. There's no way to have those benefits paid to his former wife. So I didn't write the settlement agreement, but my name is in it. And it does say that I'm assuming you've seen a copy of paragraph 12. So that agreement, excuse me? Oh, that agreement contemplated that they knew that this pension was not divisible by quadro, and so that an alternative would have to be made in the future. And so quite a while has passed. Mr. Doherty is now retired. In the interim, the tax code changed. It used to be, I don't know how long Your Honor has been involved with family cases, but it used to be that alimony was taxable to the recipient and deductible by the payor. And so in situations like this where we couldn't do a quadro, we would make a payment set up as alimony so that Mr. Doherty is going to receive all the benefits and they're going to be taxable to him. But then if he paid them to her share to her as alimony, then that would neutralize the tax situation. That's no longer the case. Since 2013, that's changed. So now when we do divisions like this with plans that are not, can't be done by quadro, we have to account for the taxes. So all these benefits are being paid to Mr. Doherty in order for him to give her share of what she's entitled to under the original divorce decree. We just have to calculate the amount that he's being taxed for money that he's then paying to her. So I assume the judge Your Honor, is concerned about not entering an order that modifies the financial arrangement of an original divorce, but this is actually just effectuating what the parties intended at the time. It just conforms it to current circumstances. The benefit, we worked out the amount of Mr. Doherty's benefit that needs to be paid to Ms. Doherty in order for her to receive exactly what was contemplated at the time of the original divorce.
Okay, I think I have a better understanding. I think initially when it came through via email, it was we need to amend a final decree. And I thought to myself, a 10-year decree, that's probably not happening. But now I see, well, one, I understand the teacher retirement issue that has come up a few times before where it can't be divided and everybody's trying to come up with creative ways to handle it.
Yes.
And so I do appreciate that, but I was concerned about it. But I'm looking now at my actual final judgment and decree and that particular paragraph where it does indicate that the parties anticipated that there would be some redrafting in order to give the effect of getting half of the retirement benefits. And so what I understand is Mr. Doherty will be paying her. There's a portion that he will hold of the money that he up to 50% so that he could pay the taxes on it, since of course he'll be responsible for the taxes even though he's giving half to her. So I understand that. Mr. Doherty, is that your let me swear you in. but both Mr. and Mrs. Doherty, if you don't mind raising
I do.
your right hand. All right. So with that being said, Mr. Doherty, it is your understanding of this process as Ms. McBurney has presented to the court?
Yes, it is.
All right, and you're in agreement with that, is that correct?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
likewise, Ms. Doherty, you understand it and you're in agreement as well?
Yes.
Now, the only issue is that the consent, final judgment, and decree, you all did virtually sign it, but you did not initial each page. Ms. McBurney, do you mind getting that back to the court and I'll sign it as soon as I get it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. and Ms. Doherty, I will resend it through DocuSign and put in a place for you to put in your initials.
Yeah, other than that, we'll be able to take care of it and all will be well. All right, thank you so much. Y'all take care.
Professional
Thank you,
courtroom
appreciate it.
decorum. So that means present yourself as if you were physically in the courthouse. Okay? So that means no driving, no drinking, no eating, no smoking. Can't be lying in bed, can't be at the dentist's office, can't be at the doctor's office, fixing the kids' breakfast, picking them up, dropping them off. Find a place where you're comfortable. Be seated and be still. Please be mindful of your background noise and your background environment. Feel free to use the chat feature. Just select my name, Melina Marshall, to let me know if you're having audio problems or video problems. Mr. House, I am speaking. Please have a seat. You are in an official court proceeding.
Okay. What's the time announcement on this matter?
9 o'clock.
Yeah, your time announcement. I'm sorry. So generally, I need to know how much time each of you need to resolve your side of the case. So
20 minutes.
then add the time together and let you know how I'm going to hear it. So how much time are you requesting?
20 minutes or less.
All right. And then Daniel Roberts.
Judge, I think our side will take about 30 minutes. We have not mediated this case. I think it might be fruitful.
Okay, so we do have a mediator. Hold for a moment. Let me figure out how that's going to work because I think she was having some technical issues. So hold for a moment.
She's having technical difficulties. Oh, there she go right there.
I'm here.
Okay. How much time are you requesting, Miss Sanford, Valerie Sanford?
Time for what?
This is your divorce, correct?
Yes, we already don't discuss everything, so we good. We going on through the divorce and everything is good.
Do you know why you're on this calendar if you've already agreed to everything? Did you?
I guess they said we had to come to court to get the divorce.
Okay, so you said that you agreed to everything. Did you sign documents indicating you agreed to everything?
Yes, Brittany, did you turn in all the paperwork?
So we're on the calendar because it was contested because of the house. Today, we kind of mediated amongst each other and came up with what a plan was. So no, officially nothing has been signed into.
All right.
As far as that's concerned.
How much time are you requesting for the court to review or hear what you have to say to resolve your case?
Maybe 20 minutes.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Johnny Waller here for the respondent, Judge.
Okay. Is Shannon Collier present?
Yes, Your Honor, and Attorney Hogan Walton present for Mr. Collier. This one is, I think, is relatively simple. We have spoken about this case a couple of days ago. We're just asking the court to talk to the child. He is 16 years old, and whatever he says, we're just asking the court to accept that. So maybe 20 minutes at most.
And Judge, we do have some objections on the respondent side. So in addition to talking to the child, I would like you to hear from my client. And so we asked for.
Okay, so then this is a hearing then.
Okay.
What's the time frame?
I'll say 30 minutes.
Your Honor, well, if that's the case, then it would probably be
I'm sorry, how much time are you requesting, Ms. Harrison Walton?
Yes, Your Honor. It'll probably be another 10 or 15 minutes of me cross-examining Mrs. Waller. I don't expect to put my client up, but if I have to, then I will. So he'll be used just as rebuttal if necessary. So maybe 30 minutes if I don't have to put him up.
Well, it's your case. So whatever you need to do, I'm not piecemealing it. If his position is he's not consenting, then it's just a regular hearing. So you would have to make your case. So
yes,
how much time are you requesting?
About 40 minutes, 45 minutes.
Bauts Kamuana versus Shibinda Baya.
Good morning, Your Honor. Donna Patton for Miss Camille Anna. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. We have a preliminary matter to take up with the court first. I have an outstanding motion to compel. I have not received any documents whatsoever from Mr. Baya, even after granting him an extension. He was supposed to get them to me end of last week, beginning of this week. He has not. I don't know why. I had filed the motion earlier this week, so I have attached my 6.4 letter to it and my email exchange regarding the extension as exhibits A and B respectively.
Is Mr. Baya on the call? Okay, so he's not present. Do you want to proceed with the final, or do you want to proceed with your motion to compel?
I don't know why he's not on the call. I think he was given notice. I noticed that the notice had the wrong case number, but I guess we could just proceed to the final. There are 2 minor children involved, and I tried my best to do a worksheet earlier this week also. My client has completed the seminar. I don't think he has, but I can consult with my client and see if she just wants to take a final. The problem I'm having is there's property in the Congo that I have no idea what it's worth or how to even evaluate it. He had, Mr. Bayou had responded to my amended complaint.
So let me just stop you. You can talk with your client and figure out what you want to do.
Okay.
But I mean, if he's not participating in your proceedings, he's not participating, and you make your request to the court based on the information you have, or
Very well.
so, but if you can't get him to participate, I mean, it's up to you. We can do the motion to compel and you can try to figure it out, or you can proceed. So you might want to talk with her and figure out.
I think we probably will. This is an older case. There was a service problem. It's been filed beginning of last year. So as I said, there's minor children in need of child support, and I will consult my client, but I think she may just want to move forward with it at this point, regardless of, again, he put assets in his counterclaim for divorce, but nothing shows up in his financial affidavit. That's the only thing I got.
Talk with your client and let me know. And so
Thank you.
We'll take it up at that time. All right.
Very
Thank
good.
you. No problem. Patrick.
Yes, I'm here, Your Honor.
All right. Time announcement.
9 o'clock.
Yeah, the time that the court needs to resolve your case.
20 minutes.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Time announcements.
About 20 minutes.
All right. Is Tiffany present?
Yep, I'm here.
All right. How much time are you requesting?
That's up to him. I don't need no time.
All right. So then you're consenting to all the requests that he's made?
I mean, no, we've been in communication, so we mediated
how much time if you don't consent and you need to.
Okay, then 20 minutes.
I'm sorry?
20 minutes.
All right. Thank you. Harass case.
Thank you. We have a Spanish interpreter, Your Honor.
All right, then.
Okay.
Okay, because your client is in the same room, so we're gonna.
Your Honor, would you like me to do that simultaneously? If I'm provided with a phone number, I can call the client and do the whole thing simultaneously while we're on Zoom, if that is the court's desire.
I generally would do that, but they're in the same room, so I don't think it's not going to help as much. All right, Miss Rich, you can go ahead and proceed.
Okay, I'm going to swear in the petitioner.
Vale.
And you live in DeKalb County?
¿Y usted vive en el condado de DeKalb?
Sí.
Yes.
Are you married?
¿Está casada?
No.
No.
Do you have children?
¿Tiene hijos?
Sí.
Yes.
How many children do you have?
¿Cuántos hijos tiene?
3.
3.
And today we're here on behalf of your son, Bilan. What is the name of his father?
His name is Emilio.
And when is the last contact you had with him?
Well, it had been a very long time. It was when I was pregnant. I've been 5 months pregnant with the child.
And did your son Bilan ever meet him?
No. No.
Did he ever provide any type of financial support to him?
No.
And do you know where the father's whereabouts are?
No. No.
Where are you from?
¿De dónde es usted?
Guatemala.
Guatemala.
And is that where your son Bilandoe is from too?
Yes.
And if Bilandoe had to return to Guatemala, is there anyone who would be able to take care of him?
No.
No.
Do you feel that his biological father has abandoned him?
Yes.
And do you feel that it is in his best interest to remain in your custody?
Yeah. Yes.
And how old is Bilandoe?
On July 7th, he will be 18 years old.
Okay. All right. And that's all the questions I have, Your Honor, for her. I can explain, give a summary of what we're asking the court for, if you'd like.
I'm trying to make sure that this case is in the right courtroom because it looks like Judge Parker Smith has been signing the documents that you.
You sure?
Well, she signed your notice for publication.
It's interesting.
Hold on, let's see.
Están determinando si este caso está en la sala correcta porque otro juez firmó los documentos de publicación.
Ms. Harris, if you'll come to the courtroom, please. All right. So I was looking at your conclusions of law. I'm not terminating parental rights.
Right.
Well, but that's in your conclusion of law. For termination of parental rights.
Your Honor, I can remove that. I don't need a termination of rights. I just am looking for a finding of abandonment by the father.
Say that again.
I don't need termination of rights, Your Honor. I'm just looking for a finding of abandonment. And so I can absolutely remove that paragraph.
All right. And then the last thing I need is, do you have a birth certificate indicating that she is the mother of this child?
Yes, Your Honor. I can submit that. I have not. I often wait until it's requested, but I can submit that to your office.
Okay.
Se lo va a mandar.
All right, then. All right, if you'll submit the order with the birth certificate to this court. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. May we be excused?
Yes.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes. Ms. Key, go ahead and turn your video off till we get to your case. All right, Mr. Kongonga, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly? Have you unmuted?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then you need to answer the question. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give to the court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right. Are you a resident of the state of Georgia and have been for at least 6 months prior to filing this action?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is your spouse Felicia Carol Andrews can Goma?
Pardon me.
I'm sorry.
Pardon me.
I'm sorry.
Pardon me. Can you say that again?
Is your wife Felicia Andrews Kangoma?
Yes, Your Honor.
And she resides out of the state,
Yes, Your Honor.
but she signed an acknowledgement of a service and consented to jurisdiction of this court.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you indicate that you were married on July 22nd, 1990 and separated in 1991.
Yes, Your Honor.
There are no minor children born of the marriage.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, there are none.
None.
All outstanding issues of debt, liability, and property has already been resolved between the two of you.
Yes, Your Honor.
So there are no issue, nothing for the court to divide at this juncture.
No, Your Honor.
Is it your position that the marriage is irretrievably broken? Is the marriage broken?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there any hope for reconciliation?
No, Your Honor.
Then the court is going to divorce you based on the grounds that the marriage is irretrievably broken. And I'll note that there are no assets or property or debt to divide. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then you're free to leave. Do not do anything inconsistent with this marriage until you receive a copy of the decree from this court, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you're free to leave.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Key, how much time are you requesting to be heard on your issue? Because there was a 20-minute announcement, but I know I need to add time to that one now, so I'm going to pull that one off a little bit. What was the time announcement? What's your time announcement, Ms. Key? Hello? Nia Key. All right, I'm gonna move to Valerie Sanford versus Brittany Sanford. Please raise your right hand, both of you.
I can't hear.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm? Ms. Sanford, go ahead and Valerie Sanford, unmute yourself. You got it?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
All right, so I'm gonna start with Valerie Sanford because you're the petitioner in the matter. All right. Have you resided in the state of Georgia for more than 6 months prior to filing this action?
Yes, ma'am.
Your spouse is Brittany Sanford, who has acknowledged service of process and jurisdiction of the court.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you consent to the jurisdiction of this court. Is that right, Ms. Brittany Sanford?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, it is your position that you were married on September 20th, 2010.
Yes, ma'am.
Where were you married?
In Washington, D.C.
Okay, and you separated on October 15th, 2022.
Yes, ma'am.
There are no minor children born in the marriage.
No, ma'am.
And Ms. Sanford, are you currently pregnant?
No.
No.
Oh, I didn't even.
Who said no? Valerie Sanford?
Both of us.
Okay, thank you. And you indicate that the debt, there's no outstanding debt to divide, but there is
Nope.
outstanding property, which is the marital home. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And what's the decision that you've made on the marital home?
We discussed until February the 1st, and if I don't bid on bought her out by February 1st, we'll agree to sell it.
Okay, February 1st of next year.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So February 1st of 2025, if you haven't given her how much money?
Brittany, did you say 20,000 or 30,000?
It was supposed to be that once the house is paid for at that time, then if that's not the case, we'll sell it.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
you have to make it a little bit more plainer for me.
Okay.
If the house isn't paid for by February 1st in its entirety, then it will be sold. We will put it on the market to be sold.
So
it's not a buyout situation.
Whose name is on the property?
Brittany.
Okay, so Mr. Shakim, you're gonna have to put yourself on mute. Turn your video off, because when other people are moving around, I can't tell who I'm working with. Okay, so now you're back up. Okay, for some reason people pop up and then I get confused. All right, so now who was speaking about whose home is it's in whose name?
Brittany.
It's in my wife's name, Brittany's name.
Brittany. Okay, and so but Valerie, you're gonna stay in the house.
Yes.
And
I'm gonna buy the house out.
You're going to pay for the house.
Okay, so what we agreed on, what me and Brittany agreed on, is that if I don't buy the house, if I don't bought the house by February the 1st, then we're gonna sell it. But if I bought the house before February the 1st, then she's gonna sign it over to me, and I'm supposed to give her $20,000 or $30,000, one or the other. I don't know. I don't remember which one it was. And she gonna sign the deed over to me because we moved in the house together. We both pay for the house. I pay for the house now.
How much is left on the house?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
So are you going to get a new loan, or are you saying you're going to be paying off the money, just kind of paying off principal between now and February? Or are you getting a new loan?
I'm gonna get a new loan.
Okay. So your position is that you're going to put the house in your name.
Yes.
So essentially, Brittany is going to sell the house to you.
Yes.
Because it's not in your name. So you're not refining it or modifying. You're literally buying the house from her.
It's our house. We buying the house together. Well, we moved in this house 2014. So we buying this house together. But then stuff happened, so we separated. So I don't want to give up the house. She don't live in the house no more, so I'm buying the house. I'm paying for the house now. So we agreed.
I know that, but the house is in her name.
Yes.
When you go to the bank, what are you going to say?
What you mean?
Well, what's the plan? I don't understand how you're going to buy off a house. I don't understand.
I'm just gonna pay whatever left that's whatever's left that's owed in this house. I'm gonna buy the house straight out.
Judge, she's coming into some money from an accident. That's why we put the time frame on there. So if her money comes in time, then she can pay the house off at that point. That's where the money comes from.
Okay. How much do you anticipate the house is? How much is left on the house by February? If you make your payments,
it's probably about what, $78,000, Britt?
78 or 7?
170.
170.
Yes.
Okay. So
that's how much left on there?
Yes.
Okay. Whatever she said, ma'am.
All right. And so when you say buy the house off, you're going to what? Pay her all the money?
No, I'm gonna pay the mortgage company. I'm gonna pay the mortgage company the $170,000, and she's
Okay.
gonna sign the deed over to me.
All right. So there we go. So you're going to pay the mortgage company the balance of the house
Yes.
as of February 2024.
2025.
And then Miss Brittany is going to sign the deed to you.
Yes.
And then you're going to pay her an additional what?
She asked me for $20,000 or $30,000. I can't remember which one she asked me for.
Okay, which one is it?
30.
And then you'll pay her $30,000 within how much time after you get the deed, or before the deed? When is it? Oh, you paying her $30,000 before the deed, $30,000 after the deed. Which one is it?
After the deed.
Okay, and do you agree with that, Miss Brittany?
I do.
Okay, so $30,000 after the deed. Okay, and then everybody be satisfied. Now, what happens if she cannot pay the 170? Then the house will be put on the market.
Yes.
Yes, that's what she wants.
If not, it's going to be placed on the market. And then who determines who will that all be Miss Brittany determining who the real estate agent would be and the price to sell it for?
No, we'll decide it together.
Okay.
We good friends. We'll decide together.
You can't really decide it together. I got to have a breaking point, because if you can't, I need to know what to do.
That's what I'm saying. But see, we get along. So
I know everybody says that.
We get along, ma'am. You know, we'll decide it together.
I'm not going to do that, because I'm not going to have you come back to me. I know what you're saying, and I hope that works out. All thumbs up. But if it doesn't, I'm going to put in this order the backup plan. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I decide.
Okay. So you'll try to agree to the person, and if that doesn't happen, to the real estate agent, then what happens? And Ms. Sanford, you cannot be smoking while we're in the middle of court, and you certainly cannot be doing it while I'm addressing you.
Yes, ma'am. I apologize.
Didn't go over those things with you?
No, ma'am. Nobody said anything to me. This is my first time ever being in any of this type of situation, so I didn't know. I apologize.
Miss Marshall takes 15 minutes of my court time to go over rules, and you're saying she didn't do that this morning?
I didn't get that, because I didn't know how to work this video. I cut this video on, but I didn't hear nothing, so I didn't hear nobody say anything. I had to call Brittany to tell me how to do it.
So you came on late?
No, I came on time. I just didn't know how to hear. I couldn't hear anything. I had to call Brittany to ask her how to make it where I could hear what was saying.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Put your smokes out. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you cannot come to an agreement on the real estate person, who will make that decision, or do you go to a third person? Who do you use?
I feel like we should go to a third person. I don't think if we can't agree, then it should be a non-biased third person. Now,
okay. And who's that third person?
Brittany, who you want it to be? Ma'am, it's whatever she wants, to be honest.
Well, then I can make the final decision, and we don't have to make
okay, then Brittany will make the final decision. Okay. And then once you sell who will be responsible for, like,
we'll split the profit down the middle.
So the profit of the house is split 50-50?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And getting the house ready, cleaning it out, if you got to repair something, is that 50-50 as well?
No, she lived there.
Okay, so who's gonna be responsible for making sure the house is cleaned out? And
I will, ma'am. I live here.
So clean out will be Miss Sanford. And what about any repairs that are necessary to sell the house? Like, for example, if you got to paint the house, or you got to fix the refrigerator.
I mean, I feel like it'd be me and her, because if I'm paying for everything, then, I mean, what you don't want? What, Brittany? What you think, Brittany? If this house need repair, you gonna help me fix it up?
It could be a collective effort.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll say 50-50 on repairs, excluding, let's say, carpet, because that'll be a part of cleanup. Everything else will be.
We don't have carpet, it's hardwood floors.
Okay, so then 50-50.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then I think we got it. Is there any other issue we are not discussing that we need to discuss now?
No, ma'am.
All right. So as I understand it, you do not have any debt or assets or property other than the house to divide. You're going to remain in the house. Ms. Valerie Sanford is going to remain in the house until February of 2025, at which time you will pay the mortgage company the outstanding balance of the home. You will then, Miss Brittany will then sign the deed over to you. Thereafter, you will pay her $30,000. If that does not happen, if you decide not to buy off the house, you will place the house on the market. You all will discuss who the real estate agent will be and the price to ask for the house and to offer to accept that price on the house. If you all cannot come to agreement, then Ms. Brittany will be responsible for doing that. You'll pay 50-50, you'll split the profit and repairs 50-50, other than cleanup and clean out repairs, other than cleanup, which will be Ms. Sanford's. Did I get that? All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then. So do not, is it your position, Ms. Sanford, that this marriage is irretrievably broken?
Yes, ma'am.
Is
I
there
guess.
any hope for reconciliation?
Well, I do, but she don't, so no.
All right, Miss Brittany, you think there's hope?
I do, but she don't. So I agree with whatever she say. Whatever she say, I want to make her happy.
Okay. So, Miss Brittany, do you think there's any hope for reconciliation?
No.
All right. Do you want to try and let the court place this on a different calendar so you can continue to try for
No.
reconciliation? Is that no?
That's a no.
All right. So there's no hope for reconciliation.
Correct.
All right. Then the court will divorce you on those grounds that the marriage is irretrievably broken. And I will handle the matter as I've already articulated to you. Do not do anything inconsistent with the marriage until you receive a copy of decree from this court. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
All right. Y'all are free to leave.
Yes, back
Thank you.
again, Your Honor.
All right.
We're
And
ready.
I need your client to open up her mic and say something so she can pull to the front of my Zoom.
Bijou, say something.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Bijou Kamwanya.
Okay, thank you. All right, just raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear? You may proceed.
Thank you, ma'am. Who are you married to?
Chibenda Beya.
Okay, you got the correct pronunciation of his name. Mr. Beya had been properly served earlier this year by the Sheriff's Department.
Yes.
Okay. Have you been a resident of the state of Georgia for 6 months prior to the filing of this divorce?
Yes.
You filed this divorce last January. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and he's been served this January. Okay.
Yes.
What's your date of marriage, ma'am?
May 16, 2008.
Okay. And your date of separation?
2019, April 2019.
Okay.
But I physically moved for good from my house in last year, August of last year.
Okay. So you were in the same house, under the same roof, but in separate
But
bedrooms?
separate bedrooms. Yeah.
2019, and then you physically moved, you and the children, in the
For
last
good.
summer. Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Yes. You have 2 children together. What are their names and ages?
I have Camelia, she's 13, and Zion is 10.
Okay. Are you asking this court to give you physical custody of the children?
Yes, I do.
So you want to be the primary physical custodial parents of Camelia and Zion?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you have a problem with joint legal custody with your husband?
Not at all.
Okay, so you would be willing to discuss the major issues, health, education, extracurricular activities, religious training, and such with him? Is that correct?
Yes, I do. Yes, it is.
Do you want to have the final say so if you don't agree after you talk with him about these issues, the major issues involving your children? Do you want to have the final say so in the matter? The final decision-making authority? Okay, yes.
Yes, I do.
All right. Are you asking for child support from Mr. Beya?
Yes, I do.
You want child support? Okay. And we had filed
yes.
Yeah, okay. We had filed a worksheet. You have provided me with your income, is that correct?
Yes.
And we put it into the worksheet. What do you make? What's your gross monthly, ma'am?
I make 3,000, between 3,000 and 3,500 a month.
Okay. Well, I put down 3,582. Is that pretty accurate?
Oh, yes, it is.
You were taking maybe $80. Okay. Now, Mr. Beya filed a financial affidavit. Is that correct?
Yes,
Do
it
you
is.
recall seeing that? Okay, and he had down 5,195 a
Yes,
month
it is.
for his gross income.
A month.
Okay, and
Yes,
that's
it
what we
is.
put in the worksheet. So, are you asking this court to award you $819 per month for child support?
Yes, I do.
Do you have any reason to doubt that 5,195? Do you think that's accurate, higher, or higher? Do you have any reason to doubt the $5,195 a month that he says he's making? Do you think he makes more than that?
I don't really know because I don't know anything about his financial stuff. So I don't know. I don't have any idea.
Okay.
That's been the problem, and that's why I asked for the discovery. They just have not been communicating, and they've never filed joint taxes even. So I think you're frozen.
No, I'm not frozen.
Oh, you're not, okay. You were frozen there for a moment. Okay.
Okay. So that's why. So I just want to make sure, that's what he wrote in. So I'm just making sure for her, you understand that that's the number that I'm going to use for child support. If we're off and he makes $20,000 a month by moving forward, you're kind of limiting your child support for until there's a material change in circumstances. Of course, perhaps him not being truthful with regard to this might be that, but I just want you to know that's the number that we're using. Alternatively, you could try to get him here and force him to give you the document so you can figure out exactly what he makes. But otherwise, this is the number we're going to be using, at least for now, for child support.
I mean, we can use it for now because it is not an easy person. So we can use that for now. I really want to at least have something from him for now because we cannot keep waiting on him. We don't know when he's going to be able to do this with us because I need assistance with the kids.
Okay, thank you.
And ma'am, you are aware that we could do a modification, as the judge just told you, for an increase if we find his income otherwise. Beju, you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right. So now Mr. Baya has health insurance on the family?
Yes.
Okay. And you understand that you will have to get your own health insurance after the divorce or do a COBRA provision, which may be costly for you, for your insurance.
For myself, yes,
okay.
I do.
So do you have health insurance available to you through your work? For
yes,
you?
we do.
Okay.
For me, yes.
Okay. Are you asking this judge that he continue paying the health insurance for the children?
Yes, I do. Yes,
okay.
I want him to keep paying, yeah.
Okay, and we do have that in our worksheet we did calculate the best we could what he's paying the children's amount. We think it's around $300 a month. Is that right? And it's been calculated in our worksheet. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now for the uncovered medicals, are you asking that the judge have him pay, I guess the breakdown on the worksheet, that you'd be responsible for 40% of the uncovered expenses and he's 60%?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the breakdown on the worksheet. Okay. Now, is there any other debt that we need to deal with the children? Like the braces, Camelia's braces, have they been paid off?
Yes, I've already paid off that. Yes.
Okay, so there's nothing outstanding at this time.
No, there's nothing else. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Visitation, do we know what he wants by way of visitation, or can you tell us what he's been doing by way of visitation?
So for the visitations, he get the kids once a month. So it depends. Sometimes once every 2 months.
Okay.
But yeah.
So I'm sorry.
Yeah, it always depends on him. And sometimes the kid are the one who asks, like, we want to go see dad. And I'll be like, okay, reach out to your dad and see, if he's available to help you guys. But that happens maybe once a month, sometimes once every 2 months.
Okay, not even. Okay.
Yeah, so
if he wants more visitation,
like
he can come back to court.
He can come back, yeah. I would love for him to have, to spend time with the kid because I have a son. So it's all depend on him. But
so what I'm going to do is I'll do regular visitation. I'll say that you all can do visitation as agreed upon, but to the extent you don't agree, then he will have the ability to have visitation first and third weekends.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. First and third. Standard from 6 on Friday to 6 on Sunday.
Standard. And then during the summer, does he get them during the summer for any extended period of time?
No.
Well, I'll give him 2 weeks of visitation during the summer too.
Okay.
If you can't agree on, more.
And I could just maybe use some general language there.
Okay.
So, and when's that start, ma'am? I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, during the summer, he can get summer visitation. He just needs to let her know by April 1st, his 2 weeks. By April 1st, just let her know his 2 weeks that he wants to take during the summer.
Okay, and we'll start any potential visitation, July 1st is what I was asking.
Oh, I mean, generally he would by April 1st, he would note what he wants. So because we're in the middle of the summer now, let's just indicate that for this summer, he just needs to give her 2 weeks notice after the date of this order as to the dates he wants to use for the summer. But generally, he would let her know by the 1st, April 1st, the dates that he.
Yes, ma'am, I understand that, and I wasn't clear
and
on my
would.
question. So we'll start regular visitation the first weekend of next month, July.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to.
Oh, that's what you're asking.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I wasn't maybe making myself very clear.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
As well as child support.
Yes, that'll start July 1st, $8.19 per month.
Yes.
Beginning on July 1st. Okay, got it. Okay, Bijou, back to you. I'm going to ask you about your house. So you have a townhouse, is that correct, ma'am?
Yes, I do.
Okay, when did you
Yes, I
purchase?
do.
I'm sorry. When did you purchase that?
June of last year, 2023.
What was the purchase price?
279,000.
279. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a townhouse in Gainesville, is that right?
Gainesville, yes, it is.
And that's where you and the children live?
Yes.
Okay. And whose name is the house in?
Both are our names.
Okay. Now, is that the deed and also the mortgage?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So are you asking this court to award you this house?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And are you asking the judge to go ahead and have him quit claim his interest to the house to you?
No.
Well, we talked about this. Eventually he's going to have to. So transfer his interest to you so you can own the house free and clear of any further claims on his part.
Okay, I got you. Okay. I understand now. Okay.
Okay, so you want exclusive use and possession of the home.
Yes, I do.
And then you want him to quit claim or transfer his interest right title to the townhouse to you within 60 or 20, it doesn't matter, 30 or 60 days, we'll prepare a deed.
Yes.
Okay. Now, then you're going to be responsible for the payments. Is that correct?
Yes.
I mean,
I'm paying for the house. So yes,
Okay.
I've been since I bought it. Yeah.
Okay. So you have been making the monthly mortgage payments and you're current on that.
Yes.
All right. And you'll continue to do so. All right.
Yes.
And he's not on the homeowners association or anything of that. Is his name on that?
Yeah, his name's still on there. Yes.
Okay. So we just have to make sure that we'll say that you're responsible for it after you are awarded the house.
Okay.
Now, I mentioned
I have a question. You indicated that you separated in 2019. Did y'all reunite? How did you buy the house in 2023 as a married couple?
We didn't buy as a married couple. What happened was my credits was not enough to get the house. So I asked him if we can use his credit and so I can be able to get the house. So that's what happened. So we just use his credit and my credits. So I can be able to get the house for me and the kids.
So right now the house is in both your names. So it's in both of your names on the mortgage.
Both our names.
So when the mortgage comes in, it has both of your names on it, and the deed has both of your names on it.
Yes. So So another thing is we've already talked about it because he just helped me to get the house. So I'm gonna remove his name. So the plan is when the interest goes down, I'm gonna refinance the house and then remove his name. That's the plan. So he is aware of that.
And when is that?
So my agent asked me to wait a little bit. Maybe when we get closer to the election, maybe the interest rate can go down. Because when I bought the house, the interest rate was 7.12. That's how much I bought the house. So now it's still high. So she asked me if we can wait until the end of the year. So when it goes down with the election, so we can be able to refinance. Because if we do it now, I might end up losing everything.
For him, what was he thinking going to happen when you bought the house? Was he anticipating you removing his name? And when was he anticipating you trying to remove his name?
he didn't give me the time frame on when to remove the house. What he said was like, okay, I know that the kid are going to be living in the house. You can just go ahead and buy the house, but make sure that you remove my name. Don't leave my name on there forever. I was like, okay, that's fine. Just give me some time. Yeah. So,
ma'am, may she have like 18 months to do so? Because I don't know when the interest rates
Right.
are going to go down. Nobody knows that answer in today's market. So if she may have at least 18 months, that'll give her plenty, I think plenty of time to.
All right, that'll be fine.
To put her best interest to refinance and remove his name off. However, however that can be, maybe they would let her assume it. I'm not sure. I was trying to look into it, but I did, wasn't sure until we talked. So I'll put language in there that 18 months.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll put forth her best effort to either assume the mortgage, remove his name off it, or refinance, or whatever means.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Now I'm gonna ask you, Bijou, about
Yes.
the condo property. I know that you may not know very much about it. Can you tell us a little bit about the property that he's claiming in his counterclaim that you have back in the Republic of the Congo, where you both are originally from?
I don't really know much about the properties back home. I know that he bought 2 lands back home. I never see the deed or anything or any document, so I don't know if my name is on it or not. So I don't have any idea. But I know that he got 2 properties back home, but I don't know, no idea.
And was he building? Are they unimproved lots?
Yes.
Building on them?
Yeah, he is building. He's building for rent. So he wants to build like apartments and then rent it.
And then
that was the plan.
Rental property. Okay.
Yes.
So let me ask you, what do you want to do with the condo property? I know we're just in the dark about it. So
yeah.
What
no,
do you have this judge do?
No, I don't need them. He can keep them. I don't need them because I don't know anything about them. Yeah, I don't need them. He can keep them.
So he can be awarded the condo property, whatever that is. We don't know. So long as your name is removed off of anything, you don't want any liability from this property. Is that correct?
I don't. Exactly. Yes, that's correct.
You don't want any taxes to haunt you from overseas. Okay, got it.
That's correct.
All right. Let's see. We're moving right along. What your make model is your vehicle?
Toyota Corolla 2021.
Okay. And you're asking this court to award you that vehicle?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Is that in your name only?
Yes, my name only. Yes.
Okay. And he has a 2001 Nissan Pathfinder?
Yes.
And that can be his? Okay.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Okay. And there's no joint debt involved in the vehicles?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do you have any joint debt, period, like credit cards or anything of that nature?
No.
Okay.
We don't.
So each is going to pay his or her own debt in his or her own name? Okay.
Yes.
You have a small 401k, ma'am?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and you're asking the judge to let you keep that and him not claim it?
Yes, I do.
And we don't know what his 401k is, so he's going to keep his?
No idea. Yeah, he can keep his, yeah.
Let me ask you, have you already divided your personal property, like your furniture and such?
When I left everything. So we don't have anything to divide. So everything that I have now, I bought them. So yeah, he can keep what he has and I can keep mine.
Okay, so you don't have anything left at the house, his house, that he still has. He's remained in the marital townhouse.
The same, yes, yeah.
And you live separate and apart in that, and that's what I think the judge was asking earlier. If that helps in clarification. So he's allowed everything in the townhouse in Lithonia. You got everything that you want, so you already divided. Okay. Is there anything else that you're asking this judge to give you? You don't need your name restored.
No.
Okay.
All I need is just to grant me my divorce and that's it. Okay. And pay child support for the kids, health insurance for the kids. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
How much is your monthly payment on the house?
Right now I'm paying $2,400 a month.
All right, thank you.
And then you pay a homeowners association fee with those townhouses, right?
Yes.
So is that what, another $7,500 on top of that?
75, yeah.
75, yeah. Okay. And you're current with that? You're current. You're up to date. Okay. All right.
I'm up to date. Yes.
Okay. So is your marriage irretrievably broken, ma'am?
Yes, it is.
Can't be fixed. Okay.
Can't be fixed.
Okay. And is there any hope here for reconciliation?
No.
Okay. That's our case, Your Honor. I don't think I've forgotten anything.
Okay, thank you. All right. Is it your position this marriage is irretrievably broken?
Yes, it is.
Any hope for reconciliation?
No.
All right, then the court is going to grant the divorce. Do not do anything inconsistent with the marriage until you receive a copy of the decree. Ms. Patton, when will you give me the order for this court signature?
If I may have to maybe the middle of next week. It's Thursday, soon to be mid-morning Thursday. I will start on it as soon as possible, of course, but I have some things. So would Wednesday be all right of next week that I can present it to you?
That's a good amount of time.
I could try to have it as soon as possible, but I won't be able to, I'll start on it. I just, I've been having computer issues. That's why I hesitate to say I can have it by tomorrow.
Let's say the close of business on Tuesday. Okay.
All righty.
All right. Thank you. You're
Okay, Your Honor, and we are absolutely ready to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so I don't know if you heard the hearing I had just before this one, wherein the defendant was not present and she presented her case in that manner. Is that how your case is going to unfold? Because you said 5 minutes, but I was thinking, I don't know if it could be done less than that, or is there additional documents more than she presented?
It can be, Your Honor, whatever your Honor's desire is. I understand that you have to enter an order, and because there is a minor child involved, I just want to make sure that you are comfortable. I can state in my place, because we have prepared all week for this hearing, anticipating that Mr. Smith will show up. We know he knows about this hearing. As a matter of fact, as we've been sitting here this morning, he's been texting with my client. She sent him a copy of the hearing notice. We don't know why. Well, I have an idea, and I can tell you to that when I give my proffer. Okay. What my announcement was this morning was that I can go through the college clue. I can also state in my place the due diligence that we have done with the evidence and all the documentation supporting the order. So whatever Your Honor's pleasure is what we will do. My client, of course, is present and ready to proceed. It's just a matter of how much evidence you want to see before you'll feel comfortable signing off on our proposed order.
Okay, and my issue really is just about timing, because I have people in front of you have 20-minute announcement, because you're a private counsel. I normally take you first, but your announcement of time is just longer. So really it's just about me trying to figure that timing out.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and get started and let's see where we are.
Okay.
Looks like Dr. Brown is back. Dr. Brown, are you back on the
Fields versus Fields?
I think it was, where were we? Was it Fields
versus Fields? Yes, Your Honor. The parties have a child support order in Florida, so they would like to keep that same order.
Okay. Oh, okay. The only issue with that being a child support placed in order in Florida, I just want them to understand that someone will have to ask for that matter to be given full faith and credit. I don't know if I can accept it. Well, I guess maybe if they're both consenting to it. Did they sign off both? Did they both sign off on it in their in the settlement that you prepared for them?
So I'm not sure, because I'm unable to see Odyssey to see what they filed, but I did speak with Ms. Marshall. She so she has a copy of the Florida child support with the settlement agreement, but I'm not sure if they listed it in the settlement agreement.
Okay, so they already had a settlement agreement?
Yes. The only thing that I was supposed to be doing was a child support worksheet with them. And then after I did the child support worksheet, I was notified that they already have an order that's in Florida. Dad lives in Florida, and it's already a child support order.
Oh, okay. All right. So let me see. So, all right. Well, then there's really, you did a child support worksheet based on the information they gave you, and then you realized they really didn't want that. They want to keep what they originally had.
Yes.
The order that you completed, can you turn it in to me? Just in case, once I talk with them, we come to the resolution that it's best to redo the one here. I'm not sure, but I want to have that just in case.
Okay. It's about a $17 difference. So I'll send my child support worksheet over.
What's the difference?
About $17. Georgia was $620. His Florida child support order is $637.54.
Yeah, because we could very well just add that to the worksheet. But let me talk with them. Go ahead and send that worksheet over to Ms. Harris, so she'll have it. And then when I address them, we'll figure out what's best. Okay.
Okay. Yes, Your Honor. And can I get Ms. Harris' email address?
Yes, Ms. Harris, if you put your email address in the chat.
It's in the chat. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So let me go now back to Smith versus Smith.
Okay, Your Honor, as I indicated, I am representing.
Before you begin, I need the client to speak so that she can come on the screen.
Let me see if I see her.
I'm here.
Oh, okay, there she is.
Now she's up. Now I can see her. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. I represent Ms. Smith. She is a petitioner in this case. She is married to William Smith Jr. They call him Bo. So when she's testifying, if she testifies and she referenced Bo, that's what everyone refers to William Smith as. They've been together for almost 12 years. They have a 9-year-old son named Mikhail, and also my client has a daughter named Amaya. They all live together in the house that served as the marital home. It was my client's premarital home before they got married. This divorce was filed due to the husband's adultery, and my client can certainly talk about that if the court wants her to talk about that. After the adultery was confirmed, he left the house very shortly thereafter that, I think within a matter of days when the adultery was confirmed, and the kids have remained in the house with my client. He moved out in January of 2023. So it's been a year and a half that they have been talking about this divorce. They both agreed to the divorce. He agreed to pay her $1,300 a month to cover the bills. And he has, for the most part, paid that. I think he owes outstanding about $1,000, but for the most part, he has paid the $1,300 a month. Ms. Smith hired me for what was supposed to be an uncontested divorce. We drafted and gave him the documents in August last year, gave them to him again in December of last year, and he refused to sign them or let us know that he wanted to make any changes to them. It was my understanding that he kept saying he was going to get the documents notarized. He just never did it. We ended up filing a divorce because it's from August to February when we filed, he just would not sign the documents. And I want to be clear that my client is talking to him constantly because they have a 9-year-old that he spends time with. I also want Your Honor to know that even during his hearing, he's been texting my client. She sent him a copy of the hearing notice, and he just flat out refuses to participate. He was formally served with the divorce petition on March the 5th of 2024. He did not file an answer. There's no answer that was served. The affidavit of service was filed with the court on March the 5th, 2024. We filed a motion for a default hearing on April the 25th after he refused to file an answer, and once again, still continued to refuse to sign off on the settlement agreements. The biggest issue in this case is the fact that there's a disparity in the incomes between the parties. They kept their finances largely separate, except for one joint checking and one joint savings account. The way that they have operated, Your Honor, is that first of all, the joint savings account has been closed, but the joint checking account is where Mr. Smith has deposited the $1,300 that he has been paying to cover child support and the bills in the house and part of the other expenses that he told her that he was going to pay. My client has a copy of his bank statements from his business. He also is a chef. He owns a company by the name of Chef Bo Knows. And so he does significant catering to the tune that he deposits up to $11,000 a month into that account. So he makes more money on doing as a chef than he does on his full-time day job. And again, my client can testify about that. My client has a full-time job that she just started in September after we drafted the initial settlement documents. And she works at Georgia Vocational Rehab, and she also sells real estate. She does that part-time and doesn't earn a lot of income from it, but to the extent that she does, of course, we have added up all of her commissions that she has received and divided them so that we could add that income to her income in the child support worksheet that we will be submitting to the court. The amount of child support that my client was asking before she got a job and before we discovered that he's making as much money on that as a chef as he is making was $875. We did not change it, Your Honor. We did not increase any of the numbers. And the reason why was because, again, we have submitted to him 3 times these settlement documents with these same numbers. My client said that she's comfortable receiving these numbers, even though she knows now that she will receive way more just because she wants to get this case over with. It has been a very stressful year and a half for her.
The settlement documents you're talking about, are they filed? Because I don't.
No, they're settlement documents, Your Honor.
Okay.
We didn't file any of the settlement documents because we do not have his signature on them. But we served him with them in August. We served him with them in December. And the process server served him with them again in March after we filed a divorce. All of those attempts were to get him to sign off, and he just wouldn't sign off on them. So all of the documents that I'm referring to are the documents that he has received a copy of. He has had 10 months of notice of exactly what we'll be asking the court for, and that's kind of where we are. I see that he is connecting to audio. Mr. Smith, can you please turn your camera on and introduce yourself to the court? Your Honor, you could address him as to why he has not been participating. That would be great.
Mr. Smith, unmute yourself, please.
There you go.
All right, Mr. Smith, we were in the middle of your hearing, and you're just showing up. Why is that?
I didn't see where I had a hearing today, and I was at the doctor's office from 8:05 until pretty much about 9:30. I didn't even know I had a hearing today.
The notice went to 444 your address?
Yes, it is, but I didn't see it. I must have missed it in the mail. So.
Okay. And then I understand that your wife then texted you this morning to tell you had the hearing. And
she just texted me now. That's why I jumped on when I was texting about some basketball stuff. So.
Oh, okay. So the announcement early this morning that she had texted you, that was not correct.
I didn't know. I just found out recently and I just jumped on.
Okay, Ms. Smith, when did you text him to tell him about the hearing?
I sent it to him at 10:23.
Okay, just recently. Okay.
I jumped on.
Uh-huh. Okay, and Ms. Bates has just finished her opening wherein she indicates that you have not participated in the proceedings and have not signed or countered any of the settlement documents that she's presented to you.
Yeah, my biggest thing is I can do whatever, but I'm not agreeing with the money. That's it. And we talked about that offline too, about the money. That's the biggest thing with me. I mean, what saying I don't make that. So that's the biggest thing with me is the money part.
Ms. Bates, were you able to get did he participate to the extent you were able to get bank records and things of that nature? I know you.
Judge Barrie, I'm trying to collect myself because you can imagine that it's quite frustrating for Mr. Smith to show up today after 10 months actually, of trying to get him to participate to some extent with respect to this case. My client has a copy of their joint bank statements where his income from his full-time job was being deposited. We're happy to put those on the screen as evidence for the court. He deposits anywhere from $45,000 into their joint bank account. Of course, after they separated, he diverted all of his deposits elsewhere. And no, we have not received any information or discovery at all from him. My client was able to locate his bank statements from Chef Bo Knows, which is his catering business. She does not have all of them. I'm not sure. I'm guessing that he diverted the mail and everything else once he moved to the address where he was served with the hearing notice and to where he has been living. Well, he has indicated that he has been living since he left the marital home 1.5 years ago. Those bank statements, again, have deposits from anywhere from $5,000 to $11,000 in 1 month for the catering. So we absolutely have evidence of, and Your Honor knows that the amount that's deposited into a bank account for a paycheck is not going to reflect the gross income. It's going to reflect the amount that is deposited after taxes, retirement accounts, and whatever other deductions come out of the income. So the income that we have listed for Mr. Smith is actually $2,000 lower than the lowest amount of the deposits, the combined deposits that have gone into the bank accounts that we just indicated to the court. As far as his income is concerned, to be clear, his income, again, $4,000 to $5,200 a month is what he was depositing into their joint bank account from his full-time job at Healthcare Services. And then at Chef Bo Knows LLC, those bank accounts, I believe, were with Truist, and the monthly amounts that we have records of that were being deposited into that account ranged from $5,000 to $11,000 per month. So his income is $9,000 to $16,000 per month. And we only have his income for child support services at $7,873 per month.
Okay. All right. So at this point, do you wish the court to handle issues related to the income so that you can actually get numbers, or you wish the court to proceed based on what you have now?
I want the court to proceed based on what we have now, because my client wants closure, Your Honor. She is not interested in going after more than what she's been asking for this entire time. Okay, so the issue I have now, Mr. Williams is present, which means that with the time announcement, I'm gonna have to push you back a little bit. Okay.
Let's see, 1:30, 2:30. So now you have to come at 2:30.
Okay.
And that way I'll finish the one ahead of you, and then to come back at 1:30, and then we'll take this up at 2:30.
At 2:30. Okay, so we'll just keep the camera on and mute it as we.
Or you can log back in at 2:30.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you,
Williams. I'll see you back here, Mr. William Smith. I'll see you back here at 2:30.
Okay.
Miss Nia Key, I need you to unmute.
I can't hear you.
I need you to unmute and open your video. Miss Key?
Yes.
You need to go somewhere first where you can hear me.
Okay, I can hear you.
I need you to unmute, and now I need you to open your video.
Okay. I'm right here, Your Honor.
All right, you filed a petition for modification of custody and child support.
Yes, Your Honor.
Child Xavier.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Xavier is currently living with whom?
He's living with his alleged father.
All right, please, both of you raise your right hand. All right, Ms. Key, you may present your case.
Well, Xavier has been with Eric when my mother dropped him off in 2018 due to me being homeless per juvenile court of Fulton County. He has been using that to keep me away from my son. It was a temporary custody order from 2018. He has been using that to keep me away from my son. And the reason why I want my son with me is because he's been retained since he's been over there. Eric has allowed his neighbors to regulate my son without his supervision and my approval because of some reason or another. I've been disrespected by his neighbors, and I don't even know who they are talking to my son. At this incident, and it's probably been going on, Your Honor. Okay, I have not been invited to any of my son's promotions, anything having to do with school. Basically, Eric has been zero when it comes to co-parenting, if that's what he wants to do. And as far as he's been using this temporary custody paper from Fulton County from 2018, I'm not the reason that my son is over there. My mother, I was incarcerated in DeKalb County at this time when they had the hearing, and school was about to start. To be brief on everything, school was about to start, and she separated my kids basically in DeKalb County. So that's what Eric has been basing this whole situation on, is the temporary custody that he received from Fulton County. I have petitioned Fulton County for that situation, and they said they're going to dismiss the case because he's not a resident of Eric is not a resident of Fulton County. Okay, so that's why I'm here today again to get my son home, because Eric, for one, does not want to share my child with me. I'm on the birth certificate. I bought my son home at DeKalb County. I put him up for child support when my son turned 1 year old, and they gave me child support for my son in 2011 in DeKalb County. I was the custodial parent. The non-custodial parent was him, and I was the custodial parent. So since this situation with Fulton County, this is what's been going on. I have not even picked my son up to spend any time with him from age 8. Now he just turned 14. And this is what I have to deal with Eric. And this is, I have my son on my line. I have my son on my phone. He has blatantly disrespected me while I've been on conversation with my son, telling me, threatening me if I come get my son, it's going to be a situation. All kinds of stuff with Eric. It has not been healthy for my son, basically. He's been surviving over there.
All right, thank you, Mr. Elder.
Your Honor, I know you don't know, but Ms. Key suffers from untreated mental health issues. She was diagnosed with bipolar schizophrenic. I was granted custody by the Fulton County Court for my son. She was incarcerated at the time when they granted me custody. Ms. Key doesn't have any of her kids. Her 2 daughters live with her mother, and I was given custody of my son. It's just been ongoing disrespect from Ms. Key since I've had my son. She got to fighting with my neighbor. She was arrested. She constantly disrespects my mother. She fought her mother twice. She fought her mother in the Fulton County juvenile court lobby, jumped on her. She fought her at her house. I mean, it's just been an ongoing situation with Ms. Key. My son, they're tired, Your Honor. They're tired of going through all. They just want their mom to get help, and she doesn't want to get any help for her issues. My son
Your Honor.
My son is doing wonderful in school now. He's AB honor roll student.
Mr. Elder, one moment. Ms. Marshall?
Yes, ma'am. We lost Ms. Key. Oh, she's coming back in now. She's back, Your Honor.
Okay. You need to unmute. Okay, Mr. Elder, the document that you have for custody, is it from Fulton County, and what type of custody is it?
They granted me temporary custody, Your Honor.
Okay, is that Fulton County?
Yes, ma'am.
And was that in Superior Court?
It was in Fulton County Juvenile Court.
All right, and Ms. Key, did you file your modification in Fulton County Juvenile Court?
I have, Your Honor, and he dismissed it because Eric is a resident of DeKalb and not Fulton. So that's why I
Did you file it
came
under
over
the
to
case
DeKalb.
number? Did you file it under the case number that you have in Fulton County?
Yes, I filed in Fulton County and the judge dismissed it based on Eric. He told me I should file where Eric is a resident. So that's what I did.
Okay. And you're filing.
And I've done this.
And
I've done this plenty of time. It's been back and forth, you know, and nothing has been done about this situation, Your Honor. Okay, they've been in DeKalb County. That's where the case started. I don't know if it's a statute of limitations over there. He's had my son since 2018, going on 6 years. Okay, and in those 6 years,
I just need to stop here. Mr. Elder, your position is that Ms. Key is mentally unstable and has, you said, been
Yes, ma'am. It's documented in Fulton County. She had to go see a psychiatrist in Fulton County until they diagnosed what was wrong with her, and the doctor stated that she's bipolar schizophrenic.
Did they indicate that she's a danger to the child?
Well, that I don't know, but her action shows. Like when my son was in elementary school, she pops up, she come out the bushes at 6:40 in the morning, grabbed my son by the arm. He had to snatch away from her to run home, you know, and it's like constantly, like she just, it's ridiculous. I mean, enough is enough. She won't get any treatment. She won't get any help for her issues.
I can't hear what he's saying.
You're gonna have to get a different mode.
All of a sudden, it's messing up on everything.
So it doesn't matter. We're not going to proceed today anyway. I'm going to have to get a guardian ad litem involved in the case, because it sounds like Miss Key, are you asking for custody or are you asking to have some visitation?
No, ma'am. I'm asking for full custody like I had before.
Oh, okay. Yo, definitely.
For one, Your Honor, I bought my son home in DeKalb County. Eric Elder is not even on the birth certificate, Your Honor.
Your Honor, she doesn't have anywhere to stay. She don't even have a stable home, Your Honor.
Miss Key, do you have a house?
How do you know that? We're on no contact, Your Honor. How does he know my circumstances?
Miss Key, do you have a house?
I have a place to live.
I'm sorry?
I have a place to live. I don't even live in Georgia, Your Honor. Okay. For one, how does he even know? Because how do you even know my business? Because we've been on no contact, Your Honor. We've been on a no contact since. We've been on no contact since 2019. When he set me up to come over there and fight his friend, we've been on no contact for 5 years. Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Because of the circumstances that have been presented to the court, the fact that you don't even live here in the state, the fact that there's a district order giving Mr. Elder the child based upon mental health, there's nothing else to do right now. As a result,
he needs documents
until I have a guardian. In order to have a guardian ad litem, they'll make contact with you. You'll have to pay for a guardian ad litem so that the court will have an understanding of your current situation. Do you understand?
And like I said, Your Honor, this is court. This is documented in Fulton County Court. Her mother can tell you the same thing. I'm not making this up, and she knows this.
Okay. Do you understand that, Ms. Key?
This don't have to do with her. This is talking about. I hear you, Your Honor. He's bringing somebody else. Don't even have nothing to do with my case.
So, Mr. Elder, does the child have any contact with Ms. Key, like maybe even phone contact with her?
Yes, and when he talks to her, it's constantly negativity. All she talks about is worrying about what I got, what I'm doing, what I got going on. I mean, she's constantly bashing my mother. She's talking about her mother. It's never nothing positive when it comes to her on the phone with my son.
And how old is your son?
He's 14.
Okay, 14. Okay, so what we'll do is we will put a guardian ad litem in place so that I can understand the background of the case, because we need to get these records from Fulton County and I can understand the background information. We'll also interview the 14-year-old once we get the guardian ad litem in place. The guardian ad litem will have the opportunity to do that. But because we have this mental health issue and also concerns about Ms. Key's living arrangements, those things will have to be flushed out. But in order to get in a guardian ad litem, Ms. Key, that guardian ad litem is going to have to charge, because that guardian ad litem has to come where you are. Where are you currently living? What? You need to unmute. You need to unmute, Ms. Key. You need to unmute.
I've been having problems. Can I disclose that? Because I've been having problems with Eric stalking me, even though we have another. I want to disclose that under.
I need to know the state that you're in, Ms. Key.
I will, but can I disclose that with you in private, because I don't want him continue.
The state. That's not where you live.
I'm in Florida, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you currently work?
Yes, I do.
How much do you make monthly?
Monthly, I make like from roughly 25.
Okay. So to get a guardian ad litem in place, I don't know if a guardian ad litem in the DeKalb Volunteer Foundation will be able to provide you one without you having to pay. But particularly because you're in Florida, that might cause a either greater issue. You might have to pay out of pocket. Do you understand that?
I understand, Your Honor.
All right. All right. So for now, I'm going to reschedule it so that we can put a guardian ad litem in place.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And any fees related to the guardian ad litem, Ms. Key, you'll be responsible for, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
If you do not make those guardian ad litem fees, then there's nothing further the court is going to do, and I'm going to close the file. Do you understand that?
I understand.
All right. Thank you. Y'all take care.
Thank you. That motherfucker is
Mr. Elder, you're still on.
See, that's what I'm saying. See that?
All right. Go ahead and
yep.
You can go ahead and leave now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
I normally take those matters out of order because you talk with the mediator, and most of the time those things resolve. But as I go through your files, I got more questions than I have answers on them. Everything just continuously changes. There's nothing consistent in your files, even your incomes. I don't even know what your incomes are. Where do you live, Miss Fields?
I'm in DeKalb County. I'm in Georgia.
About Mr. Fields?
Jacksonville, Florida.
All right. You live in and you remain in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what is the parenting plan, Ms. Fields? What was the plan?
The plan is basically, for the most part, what it's been, he's be with me during the school year and he be with his dad for the summer. And we just talk it out however it goes. We just very open.
Okay. So you don't have a plan for spring break or Christmas or Thanksgiving?
He visits his dad every other Christmas. Because his birthday is in November, so we switch between, his birthday and Christmas. If I have him for his birthday, his dad have him for Christmas, vice versa.
When is his birthday?
November 29th. Thanksgiving is the holiday that we more so.
Yeah, sometimes.
Collection.
Okay. Yeah, the problem is that I'm looking at the child support, the parenting plan, and it doesn't say that. There is nothing in here that it's concrete at all. All it says is we have a schedule.
Yes, so basically we're very open with each other. It's not basically saying if he's not able to get him for Christmas, I'll just keep it for Christmas. You know what I'm saying? So it's just
no, I don't only because that's not how court works. Like I can't operate on your position that you're going to work together. So the plan is put in place because we want to prevent you from coming back to me for every little thing that might happen. So that's why that plan is written out in so much detail, so you can fill it out in detail. But when you generalize it, it doesn't do anything. And then you come to court, we're starting over from scratch because I don't know what to do in the event that you disagree about Christmas. Because right now you're like, oh, we're in a good place. I can, we don't have a problem about Christmas until one of you get remarried and want to go to Hawaii. And the other one wants to go someplace else. And then it becomes an issue because you're not really foreseeing it right now. But because I've been doing this for 16 years, I know what will happen because I've seen it happen over and over and over again. Even though your desire to work together is great and I applaud it, I want it to stay the same. I want you to work through them. If you don't have to look at my order and you all are on good terms, I love it. Okay. But in case you're not, I need to make sure that this plan is in place so that if an issue arises, you can take care of it without having to come back to me and cause the court more time. Okay. So that's what we're trying to do, to make sure that you don't have to come back. So for your issue on child support, your position is you want me to leave the child support issue as is. If you need a problem with child support, you'll just go to Florida and handle it, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that's no problem. I can do that. I'll just indicate that child support has been resolved in a Florida order and that both parties are okay with that remaining as is. No problem. Now, with regard to any well, let's make sure I can.
Yes.
All right. So Ms. Fields, you are the petitioner in this matter. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you've been a resident of the state of Georgia for more than 6 months prior to filing this action?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Fields, you've acknowledged service of process and jurisdiction of this court.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Fields, you were married on June 8th, 2012, separated on March 3rd, 2014.
Yes, Your Honor.
There's one minor child born of the marriage in 2012.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right. Ms. Fields.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Are you currently pregnant?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And with regard to this child, you all have agreed that you will be the physical custodian of the child, and that dad will have visitation. Is that right?
Yes.
Custody will be, which means you all will discuss all issues related to the child or major issues related to the child. Is that right?
Yes.
And who will be the tiebreaker? Will you break any ties on any issues that y'all might have?
I'm sorry,
will you break any ties that you all might have related to the child?
No issues.
Yeah, that's not my question. Is if you all have a disagreement about the child, like what school he's going to go to next year, who will break that tie if you all cannot come to an agreement?
I will.
All right, so mother will be the primary physical custodian and you all will have joint legal custody. You'll discuss it. Mom will make the final decision on those major issues. Now, with regard to vacation, I'm going to alternate vacations, which means that dad will have some vacations, mom will have some vacations based upon the time period. This is just if you can't resolve it. Like if you all having a regular agreement, he knows when to come, whatever. But if you have a disagreement, then it would be like, okay, dad can have him on Labor Day because you all can't come to an agreement on the issue of Labor Day. Then what will be in this order regarding that will rule. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any issues with that?
No, I don't.
Okay. With regard to Thanksgiving, how do you handle Thanksgiving normally?
It's around his birthday, so it's either going to be spent with me or his dad. We alternate between Thanksgiving.
I'm not thinking about his birthday. I'm really thinking about Thanksgiving because
yes, so it alternates between. It alternates between me and his dad.
Okay,
so if I keep him for Thanksgiving, his dad gets him for Christmas, and vice versa. If his dad get him for Thanksgiving, I have him for Christmas.
Okay, so who's going to get him for Thanksgiving upcoming?
I will.
Okay, so mom, you will have Thanksgiving in the even years, and dad will have Thanksgiving in the odd years.
I can agree to that.
Okay, and for Christmas, then dad would do for y'all Christmas break. Do you get the child the entire Christmas break? When do you all switch? Do you switch after Christmas? Do you split the time up where from school to one day after Christmas, and then from one day after Christmas to New Year's? How do you normally do it?
Just the entire.
Yeah, the 2-week break.
You get the whole 2
week?
Yes, ma'am.
So for Christmas, whoever gets Christmas get the entire Christmas time.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor.
So for this year, then Dad would have Christmas the entire 2 weeks.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right. And then next year, when Dad gets Thanksgiving, Mom will have Christmas the entire Christmas break.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Dad has Christmas then in the even years, and Mom has Christmas in the odd years. All right, and all other holidays, I'll just switch. Now, how do you do summers?
He's with his dad about a week after he get out of school up until a week before school starts back.
He does the whole summer there?
Yes.
Do you get a week wherein you could take him on a vacation any point during the summer? Like if you have family vacation or family reunion, do you want me to cut you out a week so that during the summer, if you decided to take him somewhere during the week, you would have a week that you could do that?
Oh, yes, that's fine.
So Dad would have the entire summer except the week before, a week after, and Mom gets 1 week during the summer for vacation. And I will say you will give notice on that by May 1st. Okay, so May 1st of every odd year, you would get to choose first those weeks. Okay. So during the even years, if you choose a date, Dad can basically either veto that date or allow that date. And why I do that is I don't want you to choose the same week every year. Let's say the 4th of July, and Dad never gets that week because you always choose it. So during the odd years, he can say no to that week and you just choose another one.
Okay.
Make sense?
It does.
Okay. All right. So with communications, do you have any issues with daily communication that child can call Dad, Dad can call child? How old is the child?
He's 11.
11. Do y'all have any issues with Dad having communication?
No issues.
Okay, communication. Daily is fine. Does the child have a cell phone?
He does.
Yes, ma'am.
And Dad, because you have legal custody, you'll have rights to all records.
Okay.
All right, I think that's that. With regard to property, do you have a marital home that you need to divide?
No, Your Honor.
Do you have any debts that you need to divide?
No, Your Honor.
Do you have any assets, 401ks, bank accounts, any things of that nature that you need to divide?
No.
Mr. Fields?
No, ma'am.
All right. And what about cars? Do you have a car, Ms. Fields?
Oh, you said, do I have a car?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. And what kind of car do you have?
I have a Nissan Altima.
What's the year?
2018.
That car will be yours with no liability for Mr. Fields. Mr. Fields, what do you drive?
Nothing at the moment.
You don't have a car?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, good. So I think that's it. Ms. Fields, do you feel that this marriage is irretrievably broken?
Yes.
Any hope for reconciliation?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Fields, do you believe that the marriage is irretrievably broken?
Yes, ma'am.
Any hope for reconciliation?
No, ma'am.
All right, do not do anything inconsistent with the marriage until the court has signed the decree. Okay, so let's see. That will be probably shortly, but wait till you get it before you do anything inconsistent. Any questions or concerns?
Ma'am.
Nope.
All right, I'll take care.
All right, you too.
Thank you.
Marcel Taylor versus Tiffany Smith. Marcel Taylor versus Tiffany Smith. Unmute. Raise your right hand.
Your Honor, if I may?
Yes.
I don't see either party logged in.
All right, that matter is dismissed.
Judge Barrie,
they were here this morning.
I get that. They're not here now. I don't know what else to do with that.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Harris.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, I was just going to say what Alina just said. Ms. Marshall just said that they were here earlier.
Okay, well, they're not here now. That matter is dismissed.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I'm here.
I think Demetric Andrews should be here. She was here earlier, so she should still be here.
Okay, unmute. Please raise your right hand.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the case I remember. There was a final order put into place. Ms. Andrews indicated that she didn't come because of some issues, so the court set it aside. And I know there were a lot of kind of going back and forth on that. Then there was, looks like an order. Let's see what my last order granting amended motion is set aside, amended final order legitimation. So I set everything aside. I did not issue on attorney's fees. Then there was a motion to withdraw from the attorney. Proposed order, let's see. So the attorney withdrew in the case, and then the case reset it. Okay, so where's the child currently?
He's with me. I have him now, but he stays with his mom, but she allowed me to get him for the week. This is like the first time I've seen him since they took him away from me.
Since they took him away from you?
For one, he never had custody. Like you said, it was a problem with me getting proper mail sent to my house of the court date. So I missed the court date, and whoever sat in your place signed papers to get him custody of the child when it never was custody in the paperwork that he's asking for visitation. So when you seen the paper, you signed me back my rights, signed me back to go get my son out of his custody to come back with me.
Okay. So how long was the child with Mr. Who? How do you pronounce your last name?
It's Hoos, ma'am. It's Hoos. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So
probably less than a month.
Okay. All right. So generally outside of that time frame, where was the child? With you, Ms.
He's been with me his whole life, 13 years.
Okay. All right. So the issue is that Ms. Hoos, is Mr. Hoos, your position the same? Your position is you want full custody.
I initially went in for joint custody, and because she didn't show up for court, I think it was Judge Vincent.
Yeah.
Initially, he wanted just visitation. If you go look in the paperwork, it wasn't joint custody.
Well, joint custody could just mean joint legal custody.
It wasn't none of that. It was just for visitation.
Okay. So, Mr. Hoos, what are you asking for now?
I want joint custody, but at the end of the day, I just want to see my son, ma'am.
Okay. So when you say at the end of the day you want to see your son, you're talking about visitation?
Visitation, yes. I don't want to cause any more, delays or anything. This is the first time I've seen my son in 5 months since this happened. So
okay. So how old is the child?
It'll be 14 in 3 weeks.
14 in 3 weeks. Okay. All right then. And you keep looking over. Is he there?
Yeah, he is here. He is. Unfortunately,
okay.
Yes,
okay. He needs to go into another room. He doesn't need to be.
No, he's not in here. Where I'm sitting. I'm in the living room, so I'm just trying to make him come out the room or anything.
All right then. And so visitation, she's allowing you to have him because it's the summer. And so how long will you have him?
This is the first time I'm getting him since January. So
yeah, you told me that part. How long will you have him?
I bring him back Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah.
So you've had him for a week?
Yes. As of now, yes, I have.
All right. How did you get him? You asked, you brought him. How did that happen?
I was at work and I received a phone call from my son. So me and my son, we communicate from time to time. He has his own cell phone and stuff like that. We communicate. He called out to me.
Hold on for a second. It looks like we lost. Okay. Miss Andrews, can you hear us? Unmute. Unmute.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here. I don't know what just had happened, but I'm here.
Okay. So how'd you get him again?
So he called me. I think it was like, I want to believe it was like Wednesday at Thursday. It was like Wednesday. And he said, "Hey, Dad, Mom said I could come over." And I said, "Thank you." I said, "Tell her I said I appreciate her,"
Okay. After returned custody back to Miss Andrews, did you reach out to her to ask for visitation during the time frame?
I haven't reached out to her, but I've told my son several times, we communicate to where we have a really good relationship between
Okay,
me.
so you and your son were still talking, you just didn't have any physical time with him.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But you never asked her for any physical time as well.
I asked her one time and
he has not.
Don't interrupt him. I'm talking just to him right now.
It was one time.
Did I swear both of you in?
Yes, you did.
Okay. All right. And so your position is you recall asking her and she said no.
I asked literally one time and she told me that I had to wait until after the court proceedings, and which I totally understand. I don't want to make anything harder than what it is. I just want to be able to see my child.
Okay. With regard to the visitation that you're asking for now, what are you asking for?
I would like to have joint, if she agrees to joint custody, I don't want to take him from her. I just want to be able to do more, like
when you say joint custody, what do you mean? Because that could be various things.
So I was thinking like extended, visitation, me getting.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Hold on. I think I have a 12 o'clock meeting. Yes. Okay. I need to handle this meeting. I will see you all back here at 12:20. Everyone who still remains, if you return back here at 12:20. Thank you so much. 12:20.
Okay.
You were telling me, tell me what it was that you wanted for visitation.
Yes. So joint custody, if she's okay with it, you know, I just want to have more hands on like what's going on in his life, like far as schooling and stuff like that. I wasn't able to go to his graduation. He had a 8th grade graduation ceremony, and he told me exactly what happened, that his mom told him not to tell me. So I mean, it sucks, but you know, I've been dealing with so much. I'm okay with it. You know, I just want to be able to see my son and, you know, and do more for him. Like
When
far
you say
as
joint custody, what do you mean?
I want to have more hands on what's going on in his life, like far as schooling, education, and stuff like that.
So you want her to discuss those things with you before decisions are made.
If possible, you know, we don't have any type of, you know, a bad rapport to where you feel like she feels like she can't, you know, elaborate with me and stuff like that.
Okay, so that's for the joint custody. What about physical custody? What type of physical custody are you asking for?
If I could get extended visitations, like get him on, like, you know, Thursdays, bring him to school Friday, and, you know, bring him to school Monday, and then after Monday, they pick him up from school and keep him until Thursday. If she agrees to it, I just want to be, you know, there. I'm trying to be there as much as possible, Your Honor. I just don't want to go. I don't want to waste any more the court's time. I just want to, you know.
Okay.
She said she can't. I don't think she can hear. I think she just in the chat.
She can't hear?
Yes, I don't think she can hear.
Okay, hold on. Unmute.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I couldn't hear at first when you first started talking to him.
Okay,
I can hear it now perfectly.
I was asking him what type of custody he wanted. For joint custody, he wants you all to discuss major decisions dealing with education, extracurricular, health, and that, so that he can be a part of the decision making. And for physical, he wants extended time so that, for example, he would pick the kid up on Thursday, have his weekends, bring the child back to school on Monday. I'm
not in agreement with that, because like I said, in that month frame, he did have him, and he took him out of DeKalb County School and put him in Gwinnett School. He was failing all his classes with 16s, 15s.
You mean during the time frame he had him?
Correct.
Okay, but we're talking about visitation. So we're talking about him having him on a Thursday night, taking him to school on Friday.
I don't agree with that. I would rather us, before all of this situation happened, to keep it like it was. He would get him from school every other Friday and bring him back Sunday, because that's how everything was going until the incident that did occur with his sister them.
Okay, so do you think giving him one additional day will cause your son to flunk?
I really don't feel like he should mess with him nowadays while he's in school, to be honest with you. I'm just being honest with you, due to the fact that my son do have a learning disability that I did send to the papers to court, and he do have special teachers with special teachers that help him outside of school.
Okay.
And I have papers
when are the teachers
sent to the court too for that. I got papers.
When does he have help outside of school?
I want to say Tuesday and Thursdays.
Okay. And what's the time frame? What is that, like right after school until when?
Till 6.
6 p.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Because it wasn't a problem for him to get him every Friday and bring him back Sunday until the situation with his sisters happened.
What grade is he going to?
He's going to the 9th.
Yep, freshman. Now, Your Honor. Now, this is the only reason why we are standing in front of you today is because of the way how things played out. It started as me getting him every other weekend, and then it went from, you know, whenever she felt like it or whenever.
It never went from wherever I felt like it. I would tell him, he'll feel like, since him and his side of the family can go out of town, I don't feel like Rashawn should miss no type of days in school, period. If the vacation deal with him missing school, I will say no, I will. But if it's out of school and he's not going to miss school, I don't have no problem with Rashawn going out of town with his father. And he gets mad when I tell him no, like, I just, like I'm not saying it for a reason. But like I said, none of this ever would have happened even if you can go to the original document. You could tell that his sister filled it out and he signed it. His sister filled out all the paperwork and he signed it. This is based off of his sisters them. Before his sister them got involved, Rashawn been seeing his son every other weekend since Rashawn been born.
That is not true. But I mean, Your Honor,
Okay.
this is about.
Like I said, I have documents
Okay,
from the
okay,
school,
okay. You can't interrupt him, so I can only listen to one at a time. All right.
but I was just talking, so he interrupted me.
I
Okay.
apologize, y'all. I apologize.
Okay.
Okay, so I got documentation from the school where they can tell you that he was getting him every Friday and bringing him back to me, and I have videos from my house to show that he was getting visitation and everything.
Okay. And I do remember though, Mr. Hoos, that there was some issue about vacation when you first came in. You said something, I think he was trying to maybe Disney World or something like that.
Yeah,
Right, correct.
I planned a trip to Disney World.
That caused a big issue.
Yeah, I
correct.
planned a trip for Disney World last year for my youngest son's birthday for his
I know, but was that during the school week? Was that caused an issue?
I think it was a spring break. I think that was
It wasn't a spring break. It was school week.
It was
because your son's birthday is in March.
Yeah, but it was spring break when we went down there. It was a leap year. So last year
it wasn't
down there, it was around spring. It was around springtime.
So the issue, well, regardless, at some point the child didn't go on that vacation because mom said it was interfering with school. Your position is that you thought he was out of school. Would you have taken him if he was in school?
Yes.
If I had the permission, which I received the permission from, I think her mom told me I could take him. No, she told me I could take him, and then mom told me I couldn't take him.
Neither one of us was in agreement. And when I did have my lawyer, they sent the paperwork on that too as well.
Okay.
The text messages.
So when the child was with you, Miss Andrews says the child was flunking. Is that true?
He literally started school. He was in school for like a month, and he told me that he was doing good. I got in touch with the guidance counselors to have a rapport with them to reassure that he was doing what he was supposed to be doing in school like that. And from my understanding, he was doing good. For him to be transferring from another school in the middle of the school year.
But what is your understanding of good?
That he wasn't failing or anything. From my understanding, once he went back to his old school, he's still succeeding. He's still excelling. He's passing and going to the 9th grade. So he didn't miss a beat. I don't feel like he missed a beat at all.
Okay.
I sent you the transcripts to the school.
Andrews, what evidence do you have that he was failing?
I sent the transcripts. The lawyer sent the transcripts of all the paperwork, and I also have it right here too as well.
Did Mr. Hoos get a copy of the?
No, man, I don't get a copy of
it's all in the e-file, so he should have got a copy.
Yeah. So it was e-file. Her position is e-file. So if it's e-file.
With the lawyer. Okay. And I'm gonna reference his grades right now because I just pulled it out. He had a 16, he had a 48, he had a 49, he had a 63, and he had a 70. In Radloff Middle School.
Yeah, and he was only placed there for a few weeks, Your Honor.
But if like I said, in a few weeks, he should not have even been failing none of the classes because once you start school, you start with 100.
Yeah, but starting off at a new school, it's a little bit different.
I don't know if it's a little bit number 16 different.
Exactly.
Yeah, I understand that too, Your Honor. But as far as
when I got him back from that school and took him back to the DeKalb County School where he was at, he started all over and he has not failed now class since then. And he's been promoted to the 9th grade.
And I appreciate you for being there for him.
Okay, so with regard to the normal visitation, so this started out with your request for legitimation so that you can get the custody rights with regard to your child. Miss Andrews, your position is that Mr. Andrews is the child's father, right?
Mr. Hoos.
Mr.
Yes.
Hoos is the child's father. Okay. And it looks like I know I amended everything, but did I keep the legitimation in place or do I need to redo that?
I have the paper. Let me read over it like that.
It's like, yeah, looks like I set aside everything. Okay, right. So I'm going to legitimate the child because there's no objection to the child, and he's been visiting child, participating with the child, so he's not lost this opportunity, interest with regard to the child. He wants to have more visitation with the child, which means that the court would look at alternating holidays. How do y'all alternate?
We alternate every other holiday. So, just say if he was getting him like he normally would have get him, it's every other holiday.
Okay,
so if I get him his birthday this year, he have him his birthday last year. If I get him Thanksgiving this year, he have Thanksgiving next year.
Okay, who's getting Thanksgiving this year?
So forth and so forth.
So, all right, so can we start from his birthday this year? Because his birthday is on July the 2nd. I didn't get him last year for his birthday.
Okay, so this birthday, you would get him? Is that the understanding, Ms. Andrews?
Okay with mom?
Right.
Is that okay?
I'm keeping it the same way like before. You wanted to come to court.
I just wanted something documented. That's all.
Okay, so my question is Thanksgiving this year, who gets the child?
I think mom
I had them last year.
had him last year. Okay, so I would get him this year. I would get him this
And
year.
then for Christmas, how do y'all do it? Do y'all split the Christmas in half?
We do split Christmas in half. I have him the beginning of Christmas, and he have him it's the same day on Christmas. Like I get him half of that day, and then he goes to his father's house until he go back to school.
Okay, so y'all exchange him on what time on Christmas Day?
Probably like
It just be
around
like 1 or 2. I say about 1 or 2. It normally be like before night comes. So I want to say like afternoon.
Okay,
that's what it normally be.
I'm gonna put 2 p.m. on the 25th.
That's fine. My family starts Christmas really, really late throughout the day, so that works out.
And mine do it in the morning, so that's why I said it'd be like half of the day.
Okay, and then after he gets him on Christmas, he keeps him until when?
The day before he go back to school.
The whole time, so even New Year's Eve, New Year's.
You're right.
Yep.
That's how we've been normally doing it.
Okay, so till school starts. So you have him from time school is out till Christmas afternoon. He gets them from Christmas afternoon until the start of school.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. That Sunday before school
That's
starts.
how y'all want to keep it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
If that works for her.
All right, and then I'll alternate the other holidays.
Awesome.
Okay, and it's still gonna stay like he pick him up from school on Friday and then bring him back Sunday.
Well, I'm considering giving him the time on Thursday so that he would pick him up.
I promise I will not fail y'all. I promise you. Demetric, I will not. If you need
The first time they say he's missed school or he's being late to school, I'm going to have a problem.
I will be there.
Because he don't miss school for nothing. You better make sure he have his work done. All of that. Because I don't play about none of that.
So no miss school and must do homework.
Yes.
And be on time. Because I stay in DeKalb and he stay in Gwinnett.
Okay, timely for school. All right, so you'll pick him up after tutoring on Thursday. Now this is just on your weekends. So this is your Thursday on your own. When you get your weekends are extended because now you pick him up Thursday. You got to take him to school on Friday morning. And returning to school on Monday, which means that these things gotta be met.
Yes,
if there's any school issues, I'm giving Ms. Andrews the right to ask for a change in that visitation policy. Do you understand that?
I totally understand.
All right.
No, I appreciate y'all. I really appreciate y'all.
Okay. All right, and child support will remain as y'all currently have it?
I mean, if it's gonna be a whole lot to ask for extension, I will keep the $74. But when I call and ask for help, it's not just because I'm calling to ask you for help.
I know that, dude.
For just money, because you've been doing him wrong this whole year of him calling you and asking you to help with prom, help with graduation, and you tell him, I pay your mama $74. That ain't nothing.
Now, that's something we can discuss. We can figure that out.
Because I don't want to have him call you and ask for extra money and you tell him what you've been telling him.
I'm going to leave the child support as is. If you want to come back and modify it later because you think there's been a change with regard to income then or need, then you could do that. Is that good?
I'm fine. Because I always pick up the slack when he do call and say that. I be like, don't even worry about it. I got it.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, because he's going into high school. He's going to need a lot of help. So
no, I know, and I'm here for him. I explain to him all the time that no matter what's going on in the world, your dad is always going to be here for you, regardless of the fact. You can always depend on him.
Saying she want to kind of see that with some of the money.
Yeah, I know.
And stop telling him, ask your mama for it because I pay her $75 in child support. Stop telling him that. Because he knows $75 don't do nothing.
Okay, let's definitely stop saying that.
Okay.
All right.
But I was a little, I know this has nothing to do with anything, but I was a little hurt about me not being able to go to my child's graduation ceremony. Like, I'm like, dang, man.
Why were you not able to do that?
I don't know, but I'm like, am I that bad of a father that I can't be a part of his life like that? Like,
so you're gonna right now I'm giving you the legal custody, so you'll have rights to do those things now.
I appreciate you.
Okay. All right. Any other issues that I need to cover? All right. Thank you so much. Y'all take care. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He's been here the whole time, and you had 2 conflicts, and you didn't file for them.
Well, yes, Your Honor. My anticipation was the hearing was going to resolve itself.
That's not a good way of handling. You're on a domestic calendar. You know domestic calendars are long. You don't know where you're going to fall on it. You can't do 2 domestics at the same time. You file a conflict just to be on the safe side. And if you had told me you had another conflict, then I could work around it. And I wouldn't have stuck you here. I mean, I'm moving things around. I asked for a time announcement at the beginning of the case so that I'll know where to place them. All right. So this one I'll continue it. And it'll be placed on another calendar. Okay. But next time you got to file for conflicts because everybody's thinking you're on Zoom. They could do 2 of them. And I have this all the time now lately that attorneys are not filing conflicts because they think they can flip from Zoom to Zoom. And at some point you get caught, and it happens more often than you probably realize. So you got to this is a lesson learned. Okay. Case will be rescheduled. Mr. Waller, file your attorney's fees. All right, I'll take care.
Will do, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you.
This bitch, what the fuck? Bitch, you done tripped the fuck out. Hell, fuck no.
Mr. Collier, you're still on.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So I have been working through the morning. So from time to time, I might turn my video off to take a sip. I do that because I want to do that online. So be mindful of, oh, okay, actually give me one moment. Okay, we're going to start with L versus Roberts. And Mr. L, you're representing yourself, is that correct? And Ms. Roberts being represented by Ms. Coleman, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. L, you got to take off your mute so I can hear you.
Oh, he's on his cell phone as opposed to a laptop or something. Can't get his mic to work.
Okay, why don't you try going out and coming back in? Can you hear me?
Looks like he's frozen.
Your Honor, he logged out and came back in. He's joined with audio, but he cannot unmute his mic. He's asking if he can ask the court for a continuance. I just have him on hold on my phone. Or just advise.
Did you say or what?
No, can I give you a call?
Yes. All right, so we're unable to get Mr. L unmuted, and he did request a continuance. The court will continue the matter.
Judge, he would object to a continuance. Mr. L was in a location. He was stable this morning. He was connected to audio and video. He's the one who insisted on having this hearing in June.
Okay, well, what other than coming back, are there any prejudice with regard to your client? I mean, are there any changes with child support,
He's not paying any support.
Huh?
He's not paying any support.
Oh, was that a request, or I thought what was your issue? Was your issue against the custody, or were you asking for something else?
Correct, and we have a counter for child support. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
We do have a counterclaim for child support, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you have a counterclaim for child support. Okay, so, right. Okay, so, but I'm gonna, so I am going to grant the continuance. When I'm on Zoom, you know, these are just kind of some of those circumstances I deal with. I will let Mr. L know that I am granting this continuance for Zoom because you don't know how to work it properly, but that's the last continuance you get on Zoom. If you have an issue, you next need to come to the courthouse. So you can come to the courthouse and resolve the issues while at the courthouse. But the next time you can try coming via Zoom, but if you're not available and it doesn't work, then I continue the hearing without you. So be mindful of that. I'll oh, I'm sorry. I am not on video. All right. So be mindful of that. But I will continue it because of that. And I'm sorry, he's sending the chat. Okay. So yeah, I can't deal with any of that, Mr. L. I can't, you don't have, where were you this morning? And can you, where were you this morning? Tell me that in chat. And can't you go back there? And I'm not scheduling any I'm not doing any custody by via chat. So yeah, but I'm not making any custody changes via chat. That's not happening. All right. So I'll reschedule it. I honestly don't know when it'll go back on the calendar. I'm not sure if July's calendar is set at this juncture. So it might be the August domestic calendar. Ms. Marshall will have to let me know. You'll get notice because I only have a domestic calendar once a month. All right. Thank you so much. Y'all are free to leave.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Attorney Bates. Mr. Smith, open your video, please, and leave it open. You are in an official court proceeding. Thank you.
Mr. Six is representing himself. Ms. Smith is being represented by Ms. Bates. Everybody is present. So Ms. Bates, you kind of gave me an opening already. Mr. Smith, if you could let the court know what you see are the issues, and then I'll let Ms. Bates begin by calling the witness. You need to unmute.
Just the money is the issue for me. I don't know
what that means.
The financials.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, the financials is the issue. I did 6. I think when we separated, I paid 6 months, almost 6 or 7 months, everything in the house. I mean, that's without me having nothing but like $300 to $400 left in my pocket, going into that. So the money that she's saying, I guess the Chef Bono's money that she's saying that's coming out of Chef Bono's account. I mean, catering is an up and down business, just like real estate is. I mean, I could get a catering job for a certain amount and then don't get nothing else for the rest of the month, for the rest of the year. It's a need business. It's not a guaranteed that I'm getting a check like my check is from healthcare services. So what I make at healthcare services pretty much provides for me and the family, or for, take care of kids or whatever I got to do. So that's not a substantial income. My catering is not. That's just something that if somebody needs a catering job, they're going to let me do it, and that's it. I'm not making $5,000 worth of catering money every month. If that's the case, I wouldn't be working my other job. I'd be full blown caterer.
How long have you been doing the catering?
About 10 years off and on. But like I said, I just do it as a side.
All right. So we should be able to understand, though, in the 10 years, what your general annual income from that would be.
With the losses in it too, because I got to buy food. When people pay me, I still got to buy food, buy supplies, buy certain things to be able to do the project, do the job.
Okay, so we'll get into that. Any other issues that you want the court to be mindful
of? Like I said, just the money. That's pretty much for me. Nothing else. I mean, everything else.
The money, you can't cut it off like that. I don't know what money you're talking about. I don't know if you're talking about
the money she's asking for.
Let me finish.
Okay.
I don't know if you're talking about child support, alimony. I don't know if you're talking about. Okay. I don't know if you're talking about the house. I don't know if you're talking about debts. I don't know if you're talking about 401ks. So when you say the money, I mean that's generally what we're doing in a divorce. So I don't know specifically what issue you want me to look at.
The house is hers. I don't have nothing to do with the house. I don't have nothing to do with the house. The main thing is the alimony and the child support amount is the biggest issue for me.
Okay.
That's the money that we're discussing. If we would agreed on that, then the papers would have been signed.
Okay. All right. Any other issue? Ms. Bates, call your first witness.
Okay, happy to do that. LaChef, you can unmute your computer. You're married to William Smith, referred to as Bo, who is present at this hearing today.
Yes.
And how long have you been together?
11 and a half years.
Okay, and do you all have a 9-year-old son named?
Yes.
You also have a daughter named Amaya? Oh, wait. Forgot to swear you in. Raise your right hand. Okay. Are there any other children from your marriage to Mr. Smith?
No.
Are you pregnant or expecting any more children from him?
No.
And when did you and Mr. Smith separate?
January 2nd of 2023.
Okay. And why was that?
Again, we've been together for 11 and a half years. Prior to us getting married, he did cheat on me and had a baby. I did forgive him. We went to counseling. He decided to propose after that, reassuring me that was all behind us. We got married. Maybe December of 2023, I started suspecting infidelity again. I questioned him about it, which he denied, indicating that he was just focused on his catering business. Shortly after that, actually about the 1st of January of 2023, December 2022, that's when I started suspecting it. January of 2023, I did some research of my own, went into his Instagram account and then found out that the woman that I was questioning their relationship, I did find out that they were having an affair. And when I confronted him about it, he did admit to it.
Okay. And so after that time, did he move out of the house?
Yeah, shortly after that, because I was staying in our bedroom, he was staying downstairs on the couch. So he decided he didn't want to stay on the couch anymore. So he decided to move out. Okay.
He just told Judge Barrie that he paid all of the bills in the house for 6 months. So he paid them from the time he moved out until you all reached the agreement for him to pay the $1,300 about last summer, last June.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And so prior to filing your petition, were you a resident of Georgia for 6 months?
Yes.
And Mr. Smith also was a resident of DeKalb County for the 6 months before, right?
Yes.
Is your marriage irretrievably broken with no hope of reconciling with your husband?
That's correct.
Okay. And have you given him settlement agreements that have the same relief that you are requesting today?
Yes, I've provided that, and we've had this discussion at least 10 times.
Okay. And has he responded as far as letting you know what he wants or providing you with any evidence contrary to the evidence that you already had about his income?
No, just the same that, he didn't have the funds or didn't agree with the amount. He would always say he would get back to me and let me know. So we've never been able to come to an agreement.
Okay, and did he file an answer with the court to the petition after we formally served him with the settlement of documents and the divorce petition?
No, he told me he hired an attorney and that they were going to reach out to my attorney, but that never happened.
Okay, and so in April, did we file a motion for a default hearing?
Yes.
And did we ask specifically for $875 in child support in that motion?
Yes.
Did we also ask for the $900 in alimony in that motion?
Yes.
And did we ask the court to require him to pay your attorney's fees in your original petition and in that motion?
Yes.
And did the settlement agreement reflect the debts that you want him to help pay that you're going to ask Judge Barrie to order him to pay today?
Yes.
Okay, so he's had almost a year to provide documentation or an attorney or response or something so that we can prove what he's saying is contrary to your evidence. Is that right?
That's correct.
And before today, we were not sure if he would even appear at this hearing, were we?
That's correct.
Okay, so let's briefly walk through the documents. Judge Barrie, I have emailed to you and to who else did I send? Miss Marshall, and I think there was and Miss Harris and Mr. Smith, a copy of the proposed orders that I am asking on behalf of my client for the court to sign off on and file today. They include a parenting plan, a final order, a child support worksheet, a child support addendum, and a final judgment and decree of divorce. I just wanted the court to know that those documents are available. I also indicated to Ms. Marshall that I can put the documents up on screen share if at any point if you want to see the documents. What I want to do is just kind of talk about it because we can do that very quickly. And then if anything becomes an issue, then we can do the screen share and put the documents up, if that's okay. Yeah. I just think that'll help us go faster.
Okay.
Okay, so with the parenting plan that Mr. Smith, he said he doesn't have a problem with it, but I just want to say for Judge Barrie and for Mr. Smith in front of Judge Barrie, since we are on the record, that the parenting plan provides that you have primary custody. Is that right?
Yes.
And he agrees with that?
Yes.
And did we add time to his schedule instead of him? He's been picking your son up on Fridays to, I think, is it Sunday nights or Fridays to sometimes he drops him off at school on Monday?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and then we add a day so that he gets him on Thursday and has him from Thursday pick up from school to Monday drop off at school. So we added an extra day to his parenting time.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and did we say for legal custody that it be joint and that you have final decision-making authority for all major decisions?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and you do realize that requires you to have a conversation with Mr. Smith about any major decisions before you make them, right?
Yes.
Okay, and in the summer, are we proposing that you all alternate your son every 2 weeks?
Yes.
And then flip the half of the summer on odd and even years?
Yes.
Okay, and did we propose that Judge Barrie order you guys to alternate your son for the holidays, which include Mother's Day, Father's Day, spring break, etc.?
Yes.
As far as the notices, are we asking Judge Barrie to require that you both provide each other with notice if your son is going to spend the night at someone's house without either one of you?
Yes.
Okay, and also if your son is going to be living with someone else, did we ask Judge Barrie require you all to provide the full name and birth date of the person that your son would be living with?
Yes.
Okay, and you both would have full access to records under your parenting plan?
Yes.
And the other standard provisions about not arguing in front of him and all of the other protective provisions, making sure that you all help with his homework and all of those things as it relates to your son, right?
Yes.
Okay, and so are you asking Judge Barrie to adopt the parenting plan that we have provided?
Yes.
Okay, as far as the child support worksheet, we are requesting that Mr. Smith be required to pay you $875 a month. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and how did we arrive at your income in the amount of $3,130 for the child support worksheet?
I work full time at Georgia Vocational Rehab Agency where I earn $3,100 a month. With real estate, I'm averaging, since I'm now working only full time with that, I'm averaging about $170 a month.
Okay, and so did we take your commissions, all of your commissions that you have received since you've been with this company, and add them all up and just divide them by the number of months that you've been there?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and so that extra income is based on the part-time real estate, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you
just a little bit.
Sure.
I think your question was, you took what she made for the year and divided it by 12.
Yes, because she's with a new real estate company, and also, Your Honor, the job that she has, she just started working there in September of last year, so she hasn't always been at that job.
Okay, so she does part-time real estate.
Yes.
All right, and the times that you took the total and you divided by 12, was that a year's total?
No, it was for this year because she's with the new company as of this year. So she works with, what is it? I'm sorry, what's the name of this company?
The Commission Luxury Group.
That's the real estate agency that she works with, and she's been with them since the beginning of the year. So she's earned commissions, and we took the commissions for the entire year and averaged them for this year.
And that gave you how much per month?
$170, and I think we added it in here.
So generally she makes about under $2,500 a year.
Yeah, it's less than that actually. She has had 3 commissions.
Okay, I just want to make sure. That's fine. I just want to make sure I understood you. Initially I wrote, never mind. Okay, I just want to. Okay.
Yeah, so $3,131.39 is her salary, her full-time salary. Okay. And then the commissions that she's earned this year on her 3 deals have averaged out to the $170.21. And so that's what her income. Okay, so with respect to Mr. Smith's income, we have his income set at $7,873. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did we decrease his income by $600 a month to give him credit for $600 that he's paying for his other children?
Yes.
So we based his child support only off of the $7,200. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And we also decreased his monthly payments by $100 a month for the health insurance that he pays, right?
Yes.
But we don't have any documentation showing for sure that he's even paying all of his child support or that he's current, do we?
That's correct.
And we don't have any documentation showing really how much even the insurance for your son is that he's paying, do we?
That's correct.
But we know he's paying something, so we wanted to give him credit. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then within this week that we have been pulling evidence together to prepare for this hearing, have you learned that he makes significantly more than what we've been asking for since before you started working full-time last year?
Yes.
Okay. Explain to the extent that Mr. Smith is trying to tell Judge Barrie that he cannot afford to pay the money that he's being asked to pay. Explain how we came up with his income.
So he has a business account under the Chef Bo Knows where he has had deposits anywhere between $5,000 to $11,000 going into his business account.
Okay, and then for the money that's deposited after all of his deductions into your joint account come out to how much?
That is between $4,000 to $5,200 from
okay.
his full-time job.
Okay, and so that we are clear and not confusing for the court, we have included his full-time income at about $5,000. Is that right?
Yes.
And that's based on his net deposits. That's not even based on his gross income, right?
Correct.
And then we added an extra $2,200 for his catering, right?
Correct.
And that was before we got a hold of these bank statements that shows that he's depositing between $5,000 and $11,000 into it, right?
Correct.
But you have indicated that because you want closure, we are not wanting to go through full-blown discovery and more bank statements or to do any of that with respect to his catering income.
Correct.
So are you asking the court to impute those couple $1,000s to him for his catering income?
Yes.
And is that based on the fact that if he is making $11,000 worth of deposits, we seriously doubt that he has $9,000 worth of food costs, right?
Correct.
So we have been giving him the benefit of every doubt and every evidentiary deficiency. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And with that amount and all of the credits that he has been given, it brings his child support obligation all the way down to $875 a month. Is that correct?
Yes.
And we know it will be closer to $1,400 or $1,500 a month, which is what he has been paying. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So with respect to the child support worksheet that we have submitted to the court, does it reflect everything that you just talked about?
Yes.
Are you asking Judge Barrie to adopt the child support worksheet that we have submitted to the court?
Yes.
Okay. And have you also agreed to allow him to cover your son every other year on his taxes?
Yes.
And you do realize that that's optional because you are the primary parent and you wouldn't have to allow him to do that, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And with respect to the life insurance policy, are you asking that he be required, which he has through his job, to maintain $100,000 life insurance policy in favor of your son?
Yes.
Okay. And with respect to the out-of-pocket expenses, are you asking that they be made commensurate with the incomes?
Yes.
Okay. So that you pay 30% and he pays 70%, which are the percentages that are on the child support worksheet that we submitted to the court?
Yes.
Okay. So that covers everything that was significant that was in your child support addendum. Are you asking Judge Barrie to adopt your child support addendum that we submitted to the court?
Yes.
Okay. With respect to the final order that we submitted to the court, did we essentially convert the terms that were in the settlement agreement to a final order since we could not get Mr. Smith to sign off on it?
Yes.
And there are no surprises in that final order, right?
Correct.
Okay. And is it asking that you both keep your own accounts, your own bank accounts in your name?
Yes.
And that's significant because your husband has a retirement account, doesn't he?
I believe so.
And you're not asking for anything from his retirement account, are you?
Correct.
Okay. And then you all had a joint Bank of America savings account that has been closed. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And you currently have a joint Bank of America checking account. Is that right?
Yes.
And is that where he has been depositing the $1,300 in support payments that he agreed to pay you after he stopped paying all of the bills in the house?
Yes.
Okay. And are you asking to keep that account open so that he can continue to make those deposits to pay the joint debts and other expenses that you have?
Yes.
Okay. And do you all also have a joint USAA loan that had a balance of about $13,000 as of last year when we updated the agreement and gave it to Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Okay. And for that loan, are you and your husband both depositing about $300 or so into your joint account so that the automatic withdrawals for that joint loan can be paid from it?
Yes.
And are you asking for that to continue?
Yes.
Okay. And are you asking that after that loan is paid off? Well, first of all, are you asking Judge Barrie in the final order that we submitted for neither one of you all to increase that loan balance so that it can be paid off?
Correct.
And when you both make the contributions to pay the loan off, are you anticipating that the loan will be paid off on or about May of 2025?
Yes.
Okay.
6, I believe.
And so are you asking that you both contribute half until the debt is paid off and keep the account open until the debt is paid off?
Yes.
Okay. And then there is another loan that was included in a credit card, I'm sorry, that was included in the settlement agreement and now the final order that we have submitted to the court. Is that correct?
Yes.
And is that for the American Express card?
Yes.
Ms. Smith, does Mr. Smith own at least four times more income than you earn?
Yes.
And to be clear, what is the amounts that you have earned throughout this marriage before you started working full-time last September?
The most probably about $12,000.
Okay. And we pulled your Social Security statements and tax records so that we could confirm your max income throughout the marriage, right?
Yes.
Okay. And the difference in that, as Mr. Smith indicated to the court, he was paying all of the bills. Is that right? Even after he moved out for 6 months. Is that right?
Yes.
And your income could not cover all of those bills. Is that right?
Correct.
Before earning the $10,000 or so during the marriage, were you working at State Farm?
Yes, I was there for 10 years.
And were you making significantly more money when you were working for State Farm than you did after you all agreed for you to stop working?
Yes, I was making about $51,000.
Okay. And what was the reason why your income decreased down to $10,000 to $12,000 every year throughout the marriage? What was your conversation with your husband?
After we had our son, we both decided that it would be more efficient for me to leave my job, considering that my days considered a 12-hour day. So I would leave at 6:30, get home at 6:30. So that didn't leave a lot of time for me. At that time, Bo had moved up in his job as well, which required more of his time. So we both decided that it would be best that I stay home with the kids while having the ability to do real estate or substitute teaching part-time. So because I was more the stay-at-home mom.
Okay. And so you went and found a full-time job last year after he stopped paying all of the bills in the house because of the shortfall. Is that right?
That's correct.
And about how much money in debt do you owe?
100.
It's in your financial affidavit. You completed financial.
It's 176,000.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Say that again?
$176,300.
You're saying you're behind in debt $176,000?
I'm sorry. Did I not answer that question correctly?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what this 176 comes from.
That $176,300 is the debt total I have. Yes.
The debt because he wasn't paying the bills?
That's her total debt, Judge Barrie. Total debt for everything, for her car, for the house, for the credit cards, for everything. It's her total debt.
Okay, yeah. I thought you were saying that when he stopped paying the bills, like
no,
no,
okay,
no.
All right, sorry.
It's okay. So when so with respect to the debt that you owe, you have to make minimum payments every single month on those debts. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and you included your mortgage and all of those expenses in your financial affidavit, right?
Yes.
So what is the total amount of your monthly expenses that you have?
$4,500.
Okay. And then what is the total amount of the payments that you have to make to creditors for the debts that you just mentioned?
$1,970.
Okay. And the combined amount of your monthly expenses and payments to creditors, does it come up to $6,400?
Yes.
And do you bring home $2,838 after the $400 worth of taxes and Social Security are deducted from your paycheck?
Yes.
And we did not deduct your retirement or anything except for your taxes and Social Security, right?
Correct.
So the net income was $2,838.
Correct.
Does that create a $3,600 deficiency for you with respect to your expenses and your income?
Yes.
And will the $875 that he is paying help you some with that deficiency?
Yes.
And you are asking for an additional $900 to help additionally with that deficiency. Is that right?
Correct.
And you are asking for that amount to be paid for 3 years?
Yes.
Okay. And in addition to that, there was an Amex credit card that one Amex credit card that you were using that you have been asking Mr. Smith to help you cover the interest on. Is that correct?
Correct.
And that balance, as of December of 2023, when we updated your settlement agreement, was $17,000. Is that correct?
Correct.
So are you asking that he pay for the next 3 years the interest on that card in the amount of $450 a month?
Yes.
And for all of the amounts that you are asking him to pay, are you asking that he just be required to deposit it into the joint account along with in the same account that he's been depositing $1,300 for this entire time?
Yes.
And to be clear, the difference in the amount that he is depositing now and the amount that you are asking for is about $400 or so. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Has he missed any of the payments of the $1,300 a month that he has promised to pay after he stopped paying all of the bills in the house?
Not missed an entire payment, but he is behind about $1,000.
Okay. Was the amount not paid in full? Is that how the $1,000 added up?
Correct.
He was making partial payments?
Yes.
Okay. And so when Judge Barrie starts these payments, are you asking her to start them on July the 1st of 2024?
Yes.
Okay. And again, you know that he has that money because of the deposits that are coming into the account. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And in addition, in his final order that has been drafted, are you asking that both you and your husband keep your cars and pay for your own car insurance?
Yes.
And there is no requirement of any title transfers or insurance transfers. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And when your son starts driving, did you include a provision in the order for both you and your husband to split the cost of his car insurance when he starts driving?
Yes.
Okay. And with respect to any personal property that Mr. Smith has been out of your house for 1.5 years, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And with respect to any personal property that he has left behind, are you asking Judge Barrie to require him to pick up any personal items or whatever it is that he may have left behind within 30 days of her filing the final decree in your case?
Yes.
Okay. And that he also be required to return any keys, garage door opener, and help you transfer anything that is associated with your house in his name out to your name only?
Correct.
And you are asking, and he has conceded to you having exclusive use and possession of the marital residence, all equity, and being responsible for paying the mortgage, etc. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. With respect to the financial interest that he has in his catering business, which has significant income, as we discovered over this past week, are you waiving all of your rights to Chef Bono's LLC?
Yes.
Are you waiving all of your rights to any other business or any other catering jobs that he may do singularly or with someone else?
Yes.
Okay. And outside of helping you with that one credit card and helping you pay off that one joint debt, are you asking that you both be responsible for paying for all of the other remaining debts?
Yes.
Okay. And so to be clear,
repeat that question.
Are you asking that outside of assisting with paying the joint loan that you all have at USAA and the one credit card, the one Amex credit card, are you asking that you be responsible for paying for the rest of your $130,000 worth of debt?
Yes.
And Mr. Smith would be responsible for paying for all of the other debt that he has in his individual names?
Correct.
Okay. And for the taxes, you all have filed your taxes separately throughout the marriage. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And are you asking that you both continue to file your taxes separately and that you both continue to be solely responsible for everything that you all have put in your tax returns?
Yes.
And are you asking that you each be required to indemnify the other person if any audits or any issues come up that occurred during your marriage?
Yes.
Okay. We discussed your deficiency. We discussed the alimony. With respect to the final order, the last provisions of the final order that we have submitted to the court, are you asking for the court to require him to pay your attorney's fees, which have come up to $7,000 over the past year that we have been working on this case?
Yes.
Okay. And is your request based on him earning more than at least 4 times more than you earn?
Yes.
Okay. And the fact that you suffered a huge decrease in your income when you all agreed that you would quit your job and do real estate so that you could be available for him and for your son and your family?
Yes.
And have we spent this entire week gathering evidence for this case because we could not get a response from Mr. Smith and was not sure if he would show up today?
Yes.
And we have prepared exhibits for Judge Barrie in case Mr. Smith has information that he wants to say that's contrary to the evidence that we relied on?
Yes.
Okay. And does the final order accurately reflect all of your desires post-divorce?
Yes.
Are you asking Judge Barrie to restore your maiden name back to Lachey Renee Daniels?
Yes.
And we included that in the copy of the final judgment and decree of divorce that we submitted to the court, didn't we?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Your Honor, I will state in my place my basis for attorney's fees after we are finished with Mr. Smith's testimony. I don't have any more questions for my client.
Okay. I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break. When we come back, Mr. Smith, I'm going to allow you to ask Ms. Smith any questions related to those that she just went over. So if you have any questions for Ms. Smith, you'll have the opportunity to do that.
Okay.
And then once you're done questioning her, I imagine, Ms. Bates, you're going to call Mr. Smith as a witness?
Yes, I just have very few questions for him, but yes, I will, Your Honor.
All right. Give me 2 minutes and then we'll get started.
Sure.
If you have any questions for Ms. Smith, now's your time.
All right. Yes. First question is, did we not discuss no, first question is, I did I not give on previous tax when this about this credit card about $4,500 to $5,500 for the credit card payment?
Yes.
And I have not used that credit card since what date?
The last time you used it was January 18th, I believe, of 2023.
So what was the balance? Because I didn't ever keep up with the balance. What was the balance as of that date? I know it's still gonna be interest drawn on stuff that we bought, but what was the balance?
The balance was probably still around 16.
So when I gave the 45 to 5,500, that was around taxes, right? Correct.
That's correct.
Okay. So they would have took the balance down to roughly about 12 grand, somewhere around in there. Because that's what the money was for the tax, for the credit card.
Yes, whatever money that you gave me, yes, I put it all on a credit card.
Okay. So that would have took it down to about roughly about 12 grand or something like
that. I will have to pull up that statement to confirm that because I can't recall. That was last year.
Second question is, I'm not sure this question, how are you coming up with what Shelbo knows when nobody has access to that but me, or statement wise? Is this coming from what I send you or what? I'm just curious.
These are coming from actual statements that were sent to the house.
So whose name are the statements in?
Shelbo knows.
So who has access to open the mail? Because I don't open nobody mail, your mail, anybody mail. So you open the mail to look at statements?
Well, we're married, so I'm entitled to that information.
That's not, I don't see how that is okay. Shelbo knows the Truist account. You got all this information from the Truist account, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And some from the shared Bank of America account.
So I'm saying but Shelbo knows came from the statements you looked at was from the Truist account, pretty much, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Okay. I've been given, because I'm looking at deposits I went back and just pulled all the deposits going to the Bank of America that I've been depositing in. And it's been pretty much my check has been sitting in there because I got paid. So usually my check is about what, $2,000, just roughly $2,054 and some change every time I get paid. That's my amount after taxes and insurance and all that.
And then you also have your the money that gets deposited for gas
reimbursement that I spend pretty much on gas, which is 30 cents on the dollar. So I'm really not getting it's 30 miles each way. So I'm really not getting all my gas money back. I mean, they're just giving me a partial of my gas money back from me spending gas from my job, pretty much. That I spend. So that money money's really not going to balance out to what I really spend on gas a month. I'm just speaking in general, so you count that money too.
Well, typically some of your payroll accounts from healthcare services have been in about $2,049.
That's it.
Been an amount of $2,737. It was also one that was for $37.
Yes, because I get a quarterly bonus.
$32.95.
That's a quarterly bonus. So basically, every quarter, every 3 months, we do get bonuses. That's correct. But usually, my check every month is pretty much $2,000. Every 2 weeks is $2,000 something.
Correct.
Okay. So bonuses it depends on performance or whatever. So they're not guaranteed either. It's not guaranteed money. The lowest you can get probably is I really don't know what the lowest, but it's not guaranteed money. That's all on performance, depending on loss of business and different stuff that goes into that. So let's see. On top of the checks, I'm looking in here because for the 6 months you was getting the checks, all my checks. I left everything in the account and you was paying whatever needs to be paid out of the checks, correct? 6 to 7 months. And then on top of that, you had me depositing, asking me to deposit more money on top of that too, for about 4 or 5 months.
On top of the 1,300, you're saying?
But it's more than 1,300 because it was 2,000. You was 1,300. You was asking for more money, so I wasn't able to do anything.
Okay, help me understand. So when prior to our 1,300 agreement, you were paying all of the bills, and then I was still asking you to deposit more money into the account during that time. Is what you're saying? You was taking the whole checks and you asking me for more money. What was the money for? Because I don't recall asking you to pay anything outside of the bills. Okay. Help me understand. Okay. The bank deposits are here. So if you pull out the statements, we pull out statements. Give me an example of a time when I asked you for additional funds outside of you paying the bills. Unless it was some miscellaneous item for Mikhail or something dealing with Amaya's car. 227, 281. What the bill would have been for, but stuff was going in here for it. Are you talking about the Bank of America? Yes. Okay. I mean, I do recall a couple of times where you would take money out of the savings and put it in another account, and then you would deposit that money back after I asked you why you kept taking money out of the savings account.
There's more than that. It's more than that on here. But the child issue, Mikhail, to that question, I know you said Monday through Thursday. I mean, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Mikhail be with me, like been with me pretty much this whole last 2 weeks, or in periods of time, it's been more than that. I'm not trying to stop it because I don't mind him being here, but he's with me more than the joint order is, or it's trying to be put on paper. Correct?
Correct, but we still have to have something in order just in case that changes.
And then the insurance, if I'm paying it or not, I am paying insurance. I am paying insurance on everybody. I pay about almost $400 worth of every month comes out my check. Every week come out my check about $400 for family coverage insurance. That's including you too, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
You said $400 a week. I thought you said you get paid every
2 weeks. 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. It's about $369, almost $389 come out my check every 2 weeks.
You said $389?
I want to say about $389, almost $400.
And that includes you.
That's not including the vision. That's not including vision and all the other stuff.
Yes, that includes you, your wife, and your children with her.
Amaya includes everybody. Everybody's in the family includes.
Who everybody is.
Maya, Mikhail, Nico, includes everybody. Her.
When you say everybody, are you telling me 3 children? Or 4 children?
It's 4.
Are 4 children on this?
1, 2, 3. Yes, four children on either.
You have 2 children outside of the marriage, right?
Yes.
Those 2 children are included in this 389?
Yes, everybody's included in this.
All right.
He has 3 children outside of our marriage.
So the
Nico, Aria's not included. Aria's not included.
Mr. Smith, listen to my question, okay? The 389, how many children are included in that number?
4.
4. Do you have 2 children outside of the marriage?
Yes.
And then Miss Smith has 1 child, that's your stepchild, that's included in here?
Yes.
And then you have 1 biological child?
Yes.
So there are 4.
Yes.
And the 389, you said that's twice a month?
That's twice. That's one every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. So basically, that's why you say about.
Go ahead. That's not including the dental and vision too.
I understand that, but the 389, is that the number every 2 weeks, or is that the combined number for every?
No, it's every 2 weeks.
All right. So basically, it's a little less than $800 a month.
Yes.
You pay. Okay. And that 800 should then be divided by 6 people because it's you, your wife, and the 4 children, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So 6, if I were divided by 6, you're basically spending about $120 per person.
Correct.
All right, man.
But the plan would be a lot cheaper if I just did kids and me. The plan definitely would change.
Yeah, we're not. I'm not really worried about. Sure, and the plan will change because after you divorce her, she'll have to buy her own insurance.
Correct.
But the point is how much credit to give you for the single child, which is about 100.
No, Your Honor. Along those lines, Mr. Smith, when you after this divorce, then how much is your insurance going to be for just you and the children?
I have to look it up when the enrollment plan comes up. So when the enrollment plan comes, I have to look that up.
But you gave him a credit for $100, right?
Right. Because we knew that he was paying it. We knew that it would go down. We knew that it would go down because he wouldn't be carrying his wife anymore.
I see what you're saying. So you kind of made an adjustment.
We already made an adjustment for it. Yes, Your Honor. That's exactly what I'm saying.
The biggest thing I'm trying to figure out is where is this catering money coming from? Because I would like to know, because I'll be balling. Not excuse my language. I'll be real good if I had catering money.
Well, that's why you have her here. So
yeah, I'm just trying to figure out where is the catering money coming from.
Mr. Smith, that's why you have Ms. Smith right now. She explained to you how she got the catering money. She looked at your bank records, and she said that from various months you got anywhere from $5,000 to $11,000 deposited into the account, and she did an average of that over the 12 months, and that's how she came up with the number. And then she decreased some funds off of that on your catering, and that's how she came down to a number that she thought was reasonable at $2,200 per catering. If you disagree with that, this is your opportunity to ask.
I do. I totally disagree with it because I don't average that amount of money in catering.
Well, you need to ask her now because the bank records she'll have, and she can produce them, or so if you have a question, now is the time.
Yes, I don't agree with the catering amount. That's definitely, I don't agree with that. I mean, my income is my income that comes from healthcare services. That's how I pretty much survive.
Okay. You know how much you make from your catering, right?
Yes.
Okay. She's basically indicating that from your catering, she's basically putting you at $2,200 a month. If you multiply that times 12, what do you get? So that's times 12.
24.
She's indicating you make about $26,000 a year on catering.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much you make on catering. If you disagree with that, you can challenge her now with the record she has in hand. If you want to do that, do so. If not, you can obviously make your own testify when you get ready to testify. But if you want to, you can do that now.
Yeah, I don't agree with that amount. I don't make that amount on catering. About 10,000. I probably make about 9 to 10,000. If you saying that.
I'm not saying anything. I'm
Yeah,
just,
I'm just saying if she's asking that, I don't make that amount.
okay, there you go. You want to talk, is there any more questions you have related to that or wherever you want to go? Go ahead, fine.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Like I said, the alimony, the house was already hers when she got there, so that should not be even in the conversation about the house, because my name's never on the house in that house, so I don't have anything to do with that. Pretty much the house part. It was true about the her taking this job and going into real estate, and she was doing a sub job, in between. That is true, but our monthly income, our monthly bills were not as high as now it seems to be with me gone. I don't know what happened, but it was not that high because we was able to survive off of HJC healthcare services alone without catering coming in, or I picked up a catering job here or there that helped a little bit, but we still was surviving off of the healthcare service, $2,000 or what it was a month, $4,000 a month within our house. So I'm not sure where.
I didn't ask no question.
I'm not sure where you went with where this income has increased with that. We want this amount of money, especially $900 on top of $875. That's $1,900. That's a paycheck for me. Like I told you, that's a whole paycheck for me. That's 1 month worth of paycheck for me.
Okay, I don't.
So my question is, if, like I explained to you before, and we had plenty of conversations about this, when you asked for this money, the reason why I have not signed is because you wanted about $1,900. $900 plus $875. That's almost $2,000. That's one paycheck for me. That's a whole paycheck. So if I don't depend on catering because I don't know if I'm gonna get it or not. You don't know. It's just like you don't know if you're gonna sell a house or not. So I'm asking where did you come up with that number? And for me to be able to live, I can't do it.
Your Honor, I have not been objecting because I've been wanting Mr. Smith to have some leeway so that the court can understand his financials. Yeah. I am going to object. He's not asking a question. The question that he is asking has been answered several times. So I would ask that he move on so that I can redirect my client, ask his questions, and we can conclude the hearing.
Okay, so $900.
You have to ask Mr. Smith so that you'll know, because next time she's going to stop you. If you keep doing it, then I have to stop you, and then it's going to be over. You got to ask questions. You can't make statements. And
okay, so where is this $900 alimony coming from?
Then I have to stop you altogether. I just want to make sure you understand the warning the court's just giving you.
Got you. I'm asking the question, where did you come up with this $900 a month number for alimony?
And I will object based on the fact that has been asked and answered. She spoke in great detail about how she came up with the money.
Well, but that was doing your direct. He has her own cross, so I'm going to give him some leeway. You can answer the question, Ms. Smith. How'd you come up with $900 being the alimony amount?
Again, going back to the deficiency of per month, which is a total of $3,649. Yes, our bills were significantly lower. However, in the past couple of years, they went up based on the fact that we had to get a personal loan to consolidate some of the credit card bills that we had, as well as we then racked up another credit card bill that we used to fund our marriage and vacations and so on and so forth. So that's why that has increased, as well as we went out and bought a $40,000 car for me because my car was, I had to get rid of my Jeep. So we got another car with the notion that you would be paying my car notes. So just off of that alone, in addition to that, we bought 2 separate furniture couches that I'm now having to pay, which I wasn't intending on paying because.
Okay, so let me back up a little bit. That USAA loan, how much is left on that loan?
As of December, it is $13,510.59.
$13,559, and
$13,510.
And normally, you said you put 300 in. What do you put? 150? He put 150. How does the 300 collect?
The total amount per month is $561.44, and we split that payment because it comes out of the Bank of America account automatically twice a month. So he puts in $281 in the account, and so do I. So it can come out on the 13th and the 28th.
Oh, $281. Okay. All right. And then the Amex bill, that's the vacation card to card?
It was vacation. It was for our wedding and just other miscellaneous things. So that
okay, I see. The Amex also paid for the wedding.
Correct.
Okay, got it. All right. And what's the balance on that one?
As of December, it was $17,186.60.
And what's the monthly on that?
About $700 a month.
All right. So normally y'all do what, $350 each?
Well, are you saying now?
I mean, at the time, who was primarily responsible for that?
Bo was paying the majority of the bill, and when I had commissions coming out or when I subbed, he was paying it.
Okay, got it. All right, thanks. All right.
But like I said, if you go back, a statement, like I asked her before in the previous question, I just gave $4,500 for the Amex before, and it should have been down to $12. So I don't know what's been spent after I've been out the house. I have not used the Amex card since the 1st of January of 2023.
Okay, well, you can ask her, did she put the $4,500 on the Amex?
She said she did when I asked her earlier.
Okay.
And then I gave her some more money for when I got taxes. I think it was like $1,500 or something like that for that. But we did talk about getting some more money for the Amex. I'm not gonna lie, we did talk about that. So that was something that we did talk about for the Amex. But I'm not responsible for any charges prior to January, whatever the date is, January of she said the last time I used it. I mean, the last time it was used by me. I shouldn't be responsible for it because my name is not even on the Amex. I don't even have the Amex. My name's nowhere on it. It's not on my credit report. It's not on anything. The loan is, but the Amex is not.
All right. Question for Ms. Smith.
So I'm not responsible for the Amex from what time period? That's the question I'm asking. Charges wise.
The amount, the current balance as of December is $17,186. That is what we are agreeing to split. The Air Max is well over that. So I'm not even including that amount because I know I have been spending it because unfortunately I have not been able to pay my bills. So I'm not even including the complete total. Now, in addition to whatever you did give me, understand that the interest rate alone is like $300 a month. So whether I put $4,000 or $5,000 onto it, if I'm only paying the minimum, I'm not really paying down the credit card bill at all. It would take me 30 years to pay this bill off.
So my question is, again, we go back to the alimony. I'm not understanding. I get where you come up with the number, but from my understanding, I don't have $900 a month to give for alimony. I don't have it. My statements will not show that. If you pull my records now, from whatever records you got,
Your Honor, he needs to ask Ms. Smith a question.
That's your question. I do not have it. Okay, well, it's not a question. I don't have a question for her. We'll just my question will be for, I guess, the court or the judge, or whoever I need to ask this question to. Is it a way that we can go in and look at this whole situation about the alimony? No, ma'am.
No, sir. This is the day. I think that's the whole point that Ms. Bates was trying to point out is that for several months they've been trying to engage you and you haven't.
But we have had conversations about this offline about this. Once she gave me paperwork and said that we will be able to discuss this situation. We'll sign it, get divorced, and we'll be able to discuss the legal stuff on the back end. And then it turned around and I was getting papers.
The back end was going to happen. You got divorce papers.
No, but she said that the financial part would be discussed on the back end.
On the back end, what?
We can discuss the financials on how we can about the money.
That's not how divorce court works. I mean, I know you may not be as familiar with all the particulars, but I think you would know that the court is going to decide the financials. Either you're going to come with an agreement, and if you don't have an agreement on the day of the hearing,
gotcha,
the court is going to make that decision. I don't know why you think you would leave divorce and you guys would then discuss the financials.
No. I'm saying the paperwork she provided me once before to sign was the paperwork I got sitting over here was about us discussing the financials.
But you could make counter offers and you can talk through it, but it's too late now because we're in the middle of a hearing. So at this juncture, it has to make decisions, and I have to make decisions based upon evidence. So
I got evidence on my statement of how much money I make. That's it.
I mean, to produce them because today is the day.
So well, like I said, I got it sitting right here. My deposits are $4,000 in my bank account.
Okay.
My bank is USAA loan, USAA, and it's $4,000. That's pretty much all I get in my account from healthcare services.
Okay. Do you have any further questions from Ms. Smith?
No.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Bates, do you have any questions, follow-up questions?
Yes, Your Honor, very brief redirect.
All right.
Ms. Smith, to be crystal clear, as of today, what is the balance on this Amex account?
It is $21,780.
And what is the amount that is going strictly towards the interest each month on that credit card?
$300.
Okay. As far as the Truist Chef Bo Knows accounts, it was coming to your address at the house through the end of last year, for at least the most recent statement that we have through, I think, July or something of last year, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And I am going to put the statement up on the screen.
And I'm sorry, the interest rate is $497.35.
That's just for interest?
Yes.
What is the minimum? What is the minimum payment?
$713.37.
So of that $700, $490 of it is going towards interest?
Yes.
And that's the card that you said that you charge the wedding and household goods and all of that on?
Correct.
Okay. So the minimum payment is how much?
$713.37.
And for what is going towards interest?
$497.35.
Do you see this Chef Bo Knows Truist bank statement on the screen?
Yes.
Are these the statements that you have been referring to?
Yes.
How much was deposited into this account as of January the 31st of 2023?
$73.08.75.
How much was deposited into this account as of February 2023?
$8,025.
How much was deposited into this account as of May 2023?
$11,424.
How much was deposited into this account as of June 2023?
$57.11.
Okay, and these deposits are only from the Zelle payments directly to this business account. Is that correct?
Correct.
And again, to show the first page, this is Chef Bono's LLC. Your marital is the marital residence at your house. Is that right?
Correct.
And that's how you got these statements, because they came to your house.
Correct.
To your knowledge, does he also accept Cash App for money when he caters? That's not reflected in his bank statement?
Correct.
Does he also have some other kind of little contraption where he lets people pay with credit cards that's also not reflected in his bank statement?
Correct.
Okay, so to be clear for Judge Barrie, the least amount that we have seen deposited into these accounts is this $5,000 and whatever it was for. That's 8,000. That's 11,000. Was this $5,711? We took the least amount of these huge deposits when we imputed the $2,200 worth of income to him, right?
Correct.
And there are at least 3 sources that are missing where he receives additional income for his catering. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. To the extent that there has been, he's talking about the account where his paycheck is deposited. He testified he gets a bonus 4 times a year over $1,000. Is that correct?
Correct.
So his deposits, again, after the taxes come out, after his whatever other deductions, insurance that he says is $400 a month. I'm sorry, he said he pays $800 a month in insurance. So he's depositing $5,200 into the account, right? And we know that he says that he's paying $800 for insurance. So that brings his income up to $6,000 a month, right?
Correct.
And of course, he's going to at a minimum have tax deductions that come out to probably another $1,000 a month. Is that right?
Correct.
So that would be the $7,000 gross before taxes just from his full-time job without the catering income. Is that correct?
Correct.
And because you have this knowledge, you know that he can afford to pay the alimony and everything else that you're asking for. Is that your testimony?
Correct.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Can I redirect on these deposits on the Truist account?
Let me ask you also, Mr. Smith, do you have the remaining of the accounts that shows what amounts that were deposited from June down to December?
Yeah, they sitting right here in front of me to the Bank of America account.
Okay, well, I would even like to know those numbers because those numbers
real quick, the Truist account that you're looking at, those deposits, that was my main bank account for a while. So when I put money in that account, it was coming from other account, from the Bank of America account. If I had money left over that she let me have, that I had left over from taxes, where I deposited money from taxes, that ended up being my main account to use because I didn't have a main bank account for a while. That's why you see all those transactions going through that account, because I had to use that account because I couldn't use the joint Bank of America account.
Chance to go through those right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So some of that stuff is transactional stuff.
It doesn't make sense for you to ask her about your own bank account. You'll have an opportunity to be heard. And at that time, you can go through those bank records with the court if you want to, because those numbers are significant and I'm very interested.
Yeah. And the only thing I'm saying is that those numbers on there are transactional numbers because they end up being my only bank account.
You'll be able to show them to me.
Okay.
All right then. Now Ms. Bates is going to have an opportunity to examine you, cross-examine you. She's going to call you for purposes of cross-examination. So she's going to cross-examine you. She's not directing you, she's crossing you. And then thereafter, you will have the opportunity to kind of give me more of a narrative where you can talk through the things that you want to say to me related to the finances, okay?
Okay.
You can answer her questions because you will have a chance to go back and say, Judge, here's what I want to explain regarding this particular thing.
Gotcha.
So, for example, we can look at the first deposit of 7308. You can tell me where that 7308 came from, how you spent it, if you want, and what your actual net from that 73 was that month. You can do stuff.
Gotcha.
Okay? All right. So first, right now, Ms. Bates is going to cross you.
Okay. You indicated that there are 4 children, Mr. Smith, earlier that you were testifying that you have.
Mm-hmm.
One of these children you had during your relationship with Ms. Smith. Is that correct?
Correct.
How often do you see that child?
Not often.
Once a year, once a month, once a week?
Which one are you talking about?
The one that you fathered during your relationship
I don't have any with that.
I'm sorry?
I don't have any interaction. I don't have any I don't have any way of getting in touch with that.
How old is that? How old is that child?
I'm sorry, Ms. Bates. I'm confused. There are 2, I thought. One while they were dating and one while they were married. Is that not what I was told? They're not.
What is that? Can I ask you a question? What does this have to do with this case?
Mr. Smith, I need
to ask
because it's adultery, and adultery equals.
We was not married. We was not married when this child came. No, we was not married.
Wait a minute. That's what I'm asking you. I thought.
Yes. No, it's not. No. So that's why I don't know what this has to do with the case. We was not married.
Oh, because they're not 2 babies?
We was not married. Mikhail is my son. We was not married when Mikhail was born. We was not married either.
I'm not talking about Mikhail.
Okay.
I'm getting confused. How many?
Well, I'm saying I got 4 children, but we was not married about this child. So I don't know what this child has to do with the case.
You were not married during
no,
any of the children?
No. We was not married while we was not married while any of these kids were born. No. So I don't know what this has to do with the case.
Okay. When did you get married?
We got married 2 years ago, 3 years ago. 2 years, 3, I think.
Okay. What year did you get married?
5 years ago in 2019, Judge Barrie.
2019.
Yes.
Okay. And so when was the child born that you said you found out he was cheating through the Instagram? I thought that would happen in 2020.
No, there's no child. No child's been born since we've been married. So I don't know what this has to do with the case.
Was there an affair in 2022? Because I wrote down Instagram, found out an affair. Was there an affair?
It was a situation in 2022. Yes. Huh? Yes, it was a situation in 2022.
Okay.
But it's no child
out
of this situation.
No child
So
out of it. Okay.
Yes.
All right, got it. Okay.
So I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Okay, I was also confused. So to be clear, Mr. Smith, what you're saying is that the affair in 2022 did not produce a child.
No. So
okay, that's what we were confused about. Okay.
Yeah.
So are you paying child support for?
I pay.
How old is your youngest child?
How old is my youngest? What does it have to do with anything?
Because, sir, we reduced your child support.
Trying to figure out what's going on.
Okay, I know. So you know it's I pay $270. I pay money already, but I don't know what this has to do with anything about this case.
Well, to answer your question, Mr. Smith, because we reduced your child support under the assumption that you were financially supporting these 2 other children, so they're very relevant to this case.
The proof is on my check stub. So yes, I am.
Okay, so you are paying.
One gets paid. One gets paid monthly. My oldest son gets paid monthly.
And how much is that?
It's right at $320.
$320 for your son, and then this other child that you don't see. How old is that child?
Don't know.
What age do you think the child is?
I don't know.
Mr. Smith.
I don't.
You do, and you need to start calculating. I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes.
4 or 5. I don't know.
I know you're gonna think through it because you're gonna know.
It's 4 or 5.
Okay.
And for that child, you're paying how much?
$270.
Okay.
Okay, so essentially we've given you more credit than what you're even paying for the child support. You left the house in January 2023, is that correct?
Yes.
And you said you continue to pay all of the bills in the house, right?
I provide the bills in the house.
Okay, and then you reduced the amount to $1,300 a month about a year ago, is that correct?
Not even that, it's a little more than that, still paying. I mean, it varies. I think it was 16 last month. I think this past month it was like almost 16, I think. Now it's about, if you want to go.
Okay, so you've been paying her more than the $1,300 a month?
Some months it's been more.
How much have you been paying her on average?
Let me look at the statements.
Sure.
So if you go, excuse me.
You testified that it's been about $1,600 that you paid at times. Is that what you're saying?
It's been that before. Yes, and that was yes.
Okay, well we will just assume that is what it is. And so with respect, you agreed to this divorce, right, Mr. Smith?
I agreed to the divorce.
Okay, and you and your wife have been having this conversation since August of last year. Is that right?
Probably the end of, I think it was the end of December or somewhere like that.
Okay, and then you were personally served with the documents in March. Is that right?
Yes.
And you did not file an answer. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because can I explain why?
Sure.
Okay, because then I got some more paperwork saying sign this paperwork. It was before I got this paperwork. We had talked about signing this paperwork that we could discuss the financials later. Just go ahead and get the divorce over. Then that paperwork came to me that same week, and I was confused. I'm like, wait a minute, you just told me we was going to sign this, go over this, look at this paperwork and sign it so we could talk about the financial stuff later. That's what I was trying to explain. But then that paperwork came out. I don't know. So yes, to answer your question, that's how it happened.
And your email is that right? Okay. Mm-hmm. You emailed your wife a copy of the insurance information for your kids with Blue Cross Blue Shield, right?
Yes, I have.
So you have access to that email. And Alina Marshall, who was with the court, sent you an email about this hearing. I think it was in April, letting you know 2 months ago that we were going to be having this hearing today, right?
I didn't see the hearing part in the email. I just seen some paperwork come down, say do not reply, but I did not see the date on the hearing.
Okay.
And nor did I get any mail at the address.
Okay. With respect to the parenting plan, you said that you agree with all of that. You just don't agree with the financials, right?
Yes, I don't agree with the financials.
Okay. And as far as the Truist account, you're telling Judge Barrie that you have now diverted all of your deposits over to some other account someplace else, right?
Well, no. My Truist account was my main account for me to use because I didn't have an account. The only account I had was the Bank of America account. That was both by joint account. So when I opened me a Truist account up, I opened a Truist account. So everything that you see in that Truist account could have been people loaning me money to survive. It could have been a lot of different stuff sent to that account because I was not making any money. I was only having $300 to $400 left.
How many bank accounts have you had within the last year and a half?
2.
Truist and Bank of America?
Truist and Bank of America.
Okay, and again, you work full time. Is that correct?
Yes.
Healthcare services.
Yes.
Do you have your W-2 from 2023?
Yes.
How much is on your W-2 from 2023?
2023, I made like 88 or 87,000.
Okay, and that's just from Healthcare services.
That's from healthcare services.
Okay.
My
And how long
tax
have you,
lady can provide any information as far as that goes.
okay. And how long have you been on that job with them?
I've been on there 7 years, 8 years.
Okay. And you've been catering for 10 years, right?
Yes, I have.
So you were
part-time
working
catering.
there at the same time that you were catering the entire year last year, right?
I was working, yes.
Okay. And so does anybody else have any access to your, I think you said you're the only one that has access to your business accounts, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so you admit that you have made way more money than your wife throughout the entire marriage, right?
Yeah, because even when she was working, yeah.
Okay. And you know that those bills were the same when you left that house, right?
The bills were the same.
Okay. And so you realized that with the amount of money that she was making, $1,000 a month, that was not enough to cover all of these bills, correct? Which is why you've been depositing $1,600 into her account, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so with respect to the when is the soonest date that you can get her the keys and the garage door openers, etc.?
I don't have none of that anyway. I that's been given back from the day I left. I have none of that.
Okay.
I have nothing like that in my possession.
Okay. And you talked to her about her allowing you to carry your son as long as you're helping pay all of the expenses. You know that you have no legal right if she doesn't consent to carry your son every other year on your taxes.
That's fine. Yes.
Okay. And it's because you're helping to cover these expenses. You realize that, don't you?
That she's let me cover.
Yes, Mr. Smith.
That's her choice. I didn't.
Okay. And you know that she would be entitled to receive some value from this catering income that you have now earned for 10 years if she asked for it. You know that, don't you?
I don't see how, because I was already catering before I even met her. I've been doing this for a long by myself. So
okay.
That's not, she has not had anything to do with my catering.
Are you asking Judge Barrie to enter the final judgment and decree of divorce?
If we can get these financials right.
You agree? Or is your marriage irreconcilable with no hope of reconciling?
I agree.
Okay. Your Honor, I don't have any further questions for him unless I need to recross.
All right, now this is your opportunity, Mr. Smith. You can talk through those documents. Ms. Bates can put them on the screen if you want to, if you have any issues with the court with calculating your income.
That's fine.
All right, Ms. Bates, put that first one up.
Which one, Your Honor?
The first one on first number I have is 7308.
Oh, for the bank statement, sure. Yeah. And then, Your Honor, we can certainly spend time going through these bank statements, but I just want to say that he just testified that in his full-time day job, his W-2 shows that he earned $87,000 from his full-time day job. When you divide that by 12, that is $7,250 for his gross month income just for his day job.
Oh.
So what we're asking, since we're being put through all of this, is that the court increase his income, because we have tried to settle. And I am furious that we showing up here spending all of this time going through all of this information because he waited to have this conversation today.
So, Mr. Smith, when she divides the 87,000, she gets $7,250 a month. Do you contest that?
72, how much?
$7,250. She took the $87,000 and she divided it by 12. And that's the number. It comes up to 7,250, which means that based on what they were even presenting to you, they were not even considered. It didn't even touch your catering business
at all.
But she asked for $900 in alimony.
Well, yes, I understand that, but we're looking at first of all, your child support numbers should likely go up because
I had no problem with the child support number. The biggest problem I had was go ahead.
Would likely go up as a result, and she's also asking for alimony because she said there was adultery in the marriage, which she can ask for.
I'm confused on that part.
That's just the law. The law is that if the divorce comes as a result of adultery, then, which she indicates, and I think you indicated that there was adultery in the marriage, then the court can consider the alimony. So that's why we're considering it. And what she's asking for is the alimony as a result, not only of the adultery, but because of the fact that she released her ability to make money during the marriage at your request.
No, that's not true. That is not true about the request.
I wrote down what you said. You said
I said, I didn't say
when she made that decision, that was true.
She went to real estate. That's it. She went to real estate. She had a job and she went to real estate and did sub.
Yeah,
so
you said that was true. So she released our higher income job at your request, and you said that was true.
Okay. I didn't. Yeah, that's not how it works.
What you said. I wrote it down when you said.
But the alimony is the biggest thing with me. I said.
So anyway, so what I want to do now is I want to see how much money the court is going to impute to you or add up for you based on these numbers that you have, because the 7,250, that's an automatic. I have to include that number. So the 87,000, when I divide it by 12, I didn't do the numbers, Miss Bates did, so let me just do it real quick so we won't have any issues on that. So if I put 87,000 divided by 12, yes, she's right. It's $7,250. That number you automatically got to put in the child support worksheets. Now we got to look at how much of your monies that you make for catering. You said you think you made anywhere from $9,000 to $10,000. She's indicated that on an average, like 15, that's like in 1 month, you put in 4 months, you put in over $40,000.
But like I told you, that right there was my main account. That was my account to be able to live off of. Yes.
Well, I don't know about to live off of, but let's.
Well, you know what I mean, to be able to pay stuff with. That's the account I use.
Right. So the 73. Let's see where that number is coming from. Can you go up?
Absolutely, Your Honor. These are the deposits that went into all of the deposits that went into that account.
Go to that deposit. Okay, so all of that is Zelle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so where is this number on this 73? What number are you looking at that you said came from your Bank of America account?
No, from Bank of America, just people loaning me money. I had to be able to survive.
Okay, Mr. Smith. These numbers right here are Zelle business payments. Now you're saying a business loan?
No, I'm just saying people have Zelle that they send you money. So they send you money through Zelle. That's what they're gonna send it through.
I understand that. And they're in your business account, but now you're saying these are loans?
These are people that helped me that I didn't have any money. So I had to get money from people. They're gonna Zelle you money. Cash App. I don't use Cash App.
Okay, so of the $7,308, how much money from this number came from a loan and who loaned it to you?
16 Zelle. So these Zelles are from myself. From William. You see it say from William Smith? You see it? You see this? That's from me. You see the Zelle, William Smith, from William Smith. That's my own self zelling me from that account to this account.
From what account to this account?
Bank of America. You see BAC? That's what that is. $1,600 my account from the Zelle, from that.
Okay, so on the first, January 3rd, you Zelled yourself $2,500.
You see where it said? You see it right there? It say from William Smith.
I know, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You told me that you put in $2,000 a month in the account. You said you give her $1,300, and now you're saying you take out $2,500 in 1 month. You took out $2,500, $3,500, $35. You took out in 2 weeks out of account that you said you only put $4,000 in a month. You took the entire.
That's from taxes too.
From the account.
I got tax payments too. Remember, I got taxes, so I moved money from my taxes over to this account too.
What now?
And when I got my tax payment went to the Bank of America.
Yeah,
that's the account.
about the tax payment.
I'm just telling you that's where money came from, or either from my savings.
To that number, you can tell me about the tax deposit.
Okay.
I'm not talking about your tax deposit. You're telling me that money is coming from an account going into this Truist account. You're telling me it's your joint family account, and I'm telling you that doesn't jive with the numbers that you claim you put into the account. You wouldn't have any money left in your joint account. She would be in the negative.
You see, it says from William Smith. That's the only place it come from because it says
yes, sir, I understand what it says.
Yes,
what I'm telling you is that it still doesn't make sense. You cannot squeeze blood from an apple. I mean, I'm just saying this is $7,000. This is more than you even put in your joint account. So
I'm not saying all this $7,000 came from, but it's Zelling. I'm Zelling it from. Like I got a payment for $400 from somebody to pay for something. I got a cash square. Let's see what this square is. $297. Debit card return support. $400. That's money that is left over from the account after I paid whatever. The 1,600 was from our savings. That was sent to me that I sent over. 520. Yeah, this is still something from my savings and from my savings in the Bank of America.
Okay, so how much of these monies are monies from that's related to your business?
Probably about $500 if anything. Because it's coming from me, from my Zelle. So nobody, if anybody went into the Bank of America for catering, it would have said that. But this money is from like savings and different stuff like that. So I moved over to this account.
So in the month of January, you brought $7,308.75 into this account, and you put $4,000 into your joint account. For which, how much money did you leave for Ms. Smith? Because I just need to figure out where you got the $7,300 from. That's what I'm trying to figure out, because on a monthly basis, you said that you bring in $4,000. You took out $7,300, plus you left to her about $1,500. So that means that your position is that
this is from my savings. This is from my money from savings too. They went in this account because I got my own personal account. That's what I'm saying. We had a joint.
Bank of America is moving money from a savings account, not the joint account.
Yes, ma'am. Because I didn't have
savings. How much money do you have in savings?
I don't have none.
Okay, so at one point you had at least $7,300 in savings. Mr. Smith?
Yes, I had savings.
All right. How much money in savings did you have?
I had about 68 to 68, somewhere around in there, 65, something like that.
65,000?
No, 100.
Okay. 6,800, and you were
But when
able to move 70. Well, actually, you moved the whole 6,800 because you said 500 came from the catering, and the other monies were monies that you either borrowed from yourself, people gave to you, or you moved
No,
from.
it came from my whatchamacallit, my savings, because if you see, the Zelle is from myself.
Okay, no problem. Let's go to the next month.
Sure.
All right, there we go. All right, so of the $8,025, how much of this came from the business and how much of it came from you? And if it came from you, where did it come from?
Hold on one second. I'm trying to get off this. In February, this is when the taxes came involved. So I Zelle money from that account because the taxes went to that account.
Okay.
So I Zelle money.
How much was the taxes that you got in that you were able to put into this account?
It was about, I gave 45 and the taxes was 9,300.
So you brought over $5,000?
Yes, a little bit more than $5,000.
So
And then whatever I had left after I paid the bills, I would bring that money over to that account. So whenever I got paid, she would pay everything, and then I would bring whatever I had left over to that account.
So how much money? How much of the 8,000 came from your catering?
Let's see here. I don't think I had any catering in that money at all. I'm looking right now.
So Chef told you catering when he gave you $2,400, and then again another $400. That was your tax money that you were borrowing.
No.
What was that about?
That was a loan.
That was a loan.
I had to pay it back. Yeah, they just gave it to me.
So you borrowed $2,400 plus another. You borrowed $2,800 from Chef Tojo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then the other was taxes.
Mm-hmm. That's on here. Via money transfer.
You made no money off of catering this month.
I didn't have any jobs in February.
Okay, let's go to the following next month. Okay, this is 11,000. All right.
Okay.
What happened this month?
So let's see here. Javon Mathis that's one. Like, let's see. That's the only one I had in that month. If you see that $11,000,
Where did the other money come from?
You see that four came. See that four was deposited, and I deposited that to help somebody pay a bill. They need to be paid off my card. They can pay it off their card. So that's where that 4,000 came for.
I know, but how did you get the 4,300 to help someone else? You just borrowed money from the chef. So how did you get the 4,300 to let someone else borrow it?
It was cash money that they gave me to help them pay their bill. So you can actually see it being withdrawn from this account too.
Okay.
4,300.
The 4,300 for what?
To help them pay a bill, pay a rent or whatever.
Oh, they don't have an account, so they gave.
They didn't have an account at that time. Yes.
They gave the $4,300 to you.
Yes. Yep. Yes.
Okay.
And you can see that came out too. If you see it, it came out.
Okay.
Deposit. So
that leaves about 7,000. Where did the other 7,000 come from?
Them are Zales to myself. If you see it, payment from Smith.
I know, but how'd you get the 7,000? Because you've already spent
because
you don't have taxes, and now you're at your regular everyday 4,000 in the month that you're getting.
$50, 145. Trying to make sure it's 13. So technically, let's see. This is credits at the bottom and entry deposit and credits. So I only had, if you take that 4,000 out, I had 1,000. 32.
If you take the 4,000 out, you have $7,000 that you have. You said that that $7,000 was your leftover money, but the problem is you're saying you're putting 4,000. You're only bringing home 4,000. So where did the other 3,000 come from?
Let's see, Zelle. Can you go up? Can she stroll up? Because I can't stroll up on.
Okay, can you stroll up?
Just stroll up a little bit. Because all this money is still coming out of Bank of America, if you see. So
that's not the issue. The issue is where it came from. Because you got a lot of money, but you're saying you're strapped, but you're doing a lot of this is a lot of money. I need to know where it's coming from.
Hold on one second. This is where we end. Let me look at Bank of America. I got it in front of me, but I can't see that one. For five.
Miss Bates, can you bring it down? Miss Bates. It's
22.
Can you bring the account down?
Sure, I can. Hold on one second, sir.
5.
You want me to go up or down to the next statement, Your Honor?
5, 23.
Yes, go to the next statement.
25, 11.
Okay, so we're on the next one for 57. Where did this money come from?
Transferred 160, transferred from savings 465, sale for 400. And this is what is this? 666.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This came from the Bank of America account, savings account.
I know. How did the money get into the Bank of America savings account?
Savings account.
Yeah, how did it get into the savings?
I put some of my leftovers from Carl. I put some of my tax money in the savings too, in my savings account in Bank of America.
I thought we already got rid of it.
I didn't get all of it out. I had some in savings too, because that's where it's showing on the transaction over here, and I'm looking at the Bank of America withdrawals.
Okay, so did you make any money?
1,000.
Or the 5,000? All of that is just.
See, Jermaine, that's right there is for tailgate money that's getting put in the account. Some of this is tailgate money we get put in the account that we do. That's a group thing that they send me money to get the food.
Because at this point, you're in June.
Bill payment account, reward. Calvin Ward. What's Calvin Ward? Let's see. Calvin Ward probably was a catering. Because that's 1,000.
Okay, so we're in the month of June now, and
Yes.
the total is that you've made $2,000.
Hold on. Yep, that Calvin Ward should be one. And can't really count the steward because that's something we do as a group.
Okay.
And the rest of it's like 190, 300, 400.
Sure.
That's just leftover money.
All right, great. All right, so basically for 6 months in this account, you've attributed about 2,400 to the catering business in the 6 months. So basically the catering business, your position is you make about $4,000 or $2,400 a year. I mean, $4,800 a year.
No, I'm not gonna say that. It's about a yearly. It counts how our business is, because it's peak seasons and it's low season. So about 7 to 8 grand.
Okay, because earlier you said 10, but now you're back.
Something about 7 to 8 grand a year. It counts on how it is. Like I said, it counts on who wants service and who wants what. So I can't really, it counts on how I go. I can't really judge that. It counts on how you market yourself. I got built-in clients, but it counts on what they want. You see, I did a lady and it's $400. I mean, I do $1,000. So it counts on what it is.
All right. Thank you. Do you have any other issues you want to bring up to the court?
Your Honor, before he does that, I would like for him to explain, to the extent that he's saying, he told you that his January statement was for his tax returns. What I have pulled up is their joint account that is in both of their names at Bank of America, where he is claiming he was pulling all of this money from. The court will see that both of their names are on these statements. These are the joint Bank of America statements that he was talking about. With respect to the IRS.
It's February. I said that the statements. I didn't say January. Let me be. You can see in January, February when the taxes hit.
Miss, let me see. Is this right here? Is where he has $3,000 for his full-time job coming in, and
that's with Your Honor. Excuse me. That is with my quarterly bonus. That is only happens 3 times a month, 3 times a year.
Okay, and then the taxes, Miss Smith. Where are the taxes deposited on this statement?
Give me this. Let me see. It is on. It's in February, in 2023. On 2/15.
Lachey, I need you to unmute your computer and tell me where to find the tax deposits on this statement.
The tax deposit should have been in July of 2023. So that's the full 14 pages. It'll be on page 3.
No, that's not correct. It's 2/15/2023.
July? Okay, here it is. Is this the Republic Treasury automatic deposit for William Smith, $3,200, and then another payment for $365?
That is for taxes.
That is Your Honor. That is the state. That is state.
Okay. Well,
it's 2 different deposits.
Okay.
So, do you need to see any more from the bank statements, Judge Barrie?
No.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
I think that the evidence is pretty clear, Your Honor. I still have to make my statement for attorney's fees.
Sure.
So I want to state in my place, Your Honor, that I've been licensed to practice in Georgia for 16 years. I interned in a district attorney's office. I've been practicing exclusively family law for 11 years, including serving as 2 years as a staff attorney in the family division in Fulton County Superior Court. I've written articles, trained guardian ad litem. I've mediated probably 1,000 cases. My hourly rate is $325 an hour. I have spent over 30 hours on this case, valued at $9,750. Because Lachey's income is so low, she has been billed for $7,600. We are asking that Mr. Smith be required to pay her $7,000 of that amount. It was incurred in drafting, serving, and filing the petition in this case. In addition, multiple versions of the settlement documents back and forth with Mr. Smith. As he indicated, he continued to say that he was hiring an attorney, consulting with an attorney. His objections was because he did not want any of his catering income included at all. This week, as we indicated to the court, we received these statements, which he is now saying that these are loans from other people and everything else. He also testified to you just today that he's been depositing $1,600 a month into her account. So to the extent that he's objecting to the difference between $900 that she is asking for alimony plus $875 that she's asking for child support, is only a difference of $175. And I think that the evidence in him waffling over these statements conclusively states that he has no credibility whatsoever, that he has the potential to earn twice the income that we have put in these worksheets for his income, to the extent that he is allowing other people to give him $4,000 and $5,000 of cash to pay bills. I just don't know anyone who does that. And if he has been doing that, they can keep giving him that money to help him pay these obligations that my client is asking for. She testified that they had a conversation and he agreed to it, where she was working at a State Farm insurance company. I think that's a Fortune 100 company. If she was still at that company, she would be making the amount of money that he's making. But because she wanted to tend to the children and the household to allow him to continue to move up on his full-time job in addition to cater with his part-time job, where he was gone on the weekends and on the evenings with his catering, making the money that we just showed to the court. My client was at home taking care of the family, taking care of the household, making sure that everything was handled for his benefit. He thanks her by having an affair and admitting to having the affair. And when she approached him about it, he packed up and left. And, you know, who knows what he has been doing throughout this time, but he has testified to the court that he's been giving her $1,600 a month. So we know without question that he can afford to pay that. He can pick up a catering job to make the difference between that and the amount that she's asking for alimony on a temporary basis, only until this joint debt that they both took out for their benefit and for the benefit of the household. She is asking that he be required to contribute to that cost. In addition, my client testified that when we went through the $170,000 worth of debts, Your Honor, that she owes, so much of it as a result of things that have happened during the marriage, he told her he was going to pay that car note, which he is no longer paying, and it's costing her $536 a month. He bought her a $40,000 car. He was supposed to pay for it. With respect to the Mr. Smith, you'll have an opportunity when I finish. Please don't interrupt my closing.
Put yourself on mute, Mr. Smith. And also, Ms. Bates, that 536, is that separate from the alimony or
it's not even included? It's what she's using her income and all of the other money to pay for, Your Honor. So no, it's not on top of what she's asking for. It's a significant expense that she's having to pay every month. So that plus the insurance eats up the alimony pretty much.
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out if you were asking on top or included. All right, thank you.
Right, and she testified that the minimum payment, which the court probably saw my reaction. I had no idea that my client was paying almost $500 in interest on his Amex card that was used for the wedding. But all of these things we are asking the court to consider. In addition, is USAA loan, again, with the $13,000 balances in both of their names. So we were asking for that. My client did not ask for extra money to pay for these $3,000 worth of furniture bills that these are decisions that they made together as a family unit. And my client never anticipated that she would end up trying to figure out how to pay for all of this stuff. She understands that in a divorce that more of the financial burden will fall on her. So she went and got a full-time job. She is going to maintain her real estate license to try as hard as she can to climb out of this debt. But she's limited because she has to care for their son full-time. And then of course she also has a daughter. So I have had to draft and file this petition. I had to have him served because he refused to respond to the settlement. He refused to acknowledge service. He said he was going to hire an attorney and get the document notarized. He never did. Then we had to file a motion after the date passed because I assume anybody who makes $87,000 a year can afford to go hire an attorney. And he was telling us he had done that. I believe that they advised him that he would end up paying more. So instead of doing anything, he said, well, we'll just wait and see what happens, because he had insight into all of these financials. We did not until this week. So we are just discovering all of this extra income this week. And it makes it even more offensive, Judge Barrie, to go 10 months trying to negotiate with him based off of false information and lies. We had to produce, organize, and pull together the evidence. I have drafted all of the proposed orders that have been submitted to the court. As I indicated, spent way more time than the amount of fees that we are asking for. And it is because, again, my client has limited income and huge responsibilities, and we would like for her to have closure. I'm happy to submit anything that the court would need in order to take a look at the itemized invoices. I certainly have them. And we're asking that he be required to pay my client at a rate of $1,000 a month until all of the attorney's fees are paid off. With respect to all of the other requests that she went through in her testimony, Your Honor, they are laid out in copies of the documents that you have. And so Mr. Smith, again, has been aware of all of this for 10 months. He could have had a conversation. We could have gone through all of this over the past 10 months. There was no opportunity. So not only has he expanded these proceedings, he has expanded our proceedings today because he's caused us to spend 2.5 hours on this trial because he showed up at the last second. Suddenly he didn't see the notice. He didn't get the mail. He didn't, he was served the papers. I don't know what his excuse was for not responding to that, but it's not fair to my client when she is not the one who caused this marriage to fall apart. So with that, to be clear, what we're asking for is the court to adopt our proposed child support worksheet, parenting plan, child support addendum, the final order that addresses the debts and the attorney's fees, as well as entering the final judgment in decree of divorce, which restores my client's maiden name.
All right, thank you. Mr. Smith.
First off, I did not agree to pay for a car note. The agreement was verbatim that if anything, I would pay half of the car note when she get up whatever of the real estate. Second off, the real estate, when she decided to go to real estate, the real reason why she stopped working at State Farm because they was gonna put her on a midnight shift, and we did decide that she was gonna go to real estate school and start doing real estate. That was true. That is true. But that was a decision she still made among herself to go ahead and quit. I didn't say quit your job, but just because of that. That's not nothing I would ever tell anybody to do because they feel like they was going to have, she had savings, she had stuff to keep us afloat. She was having to pay bills in the house from her savings and from different stuff that she had keeping afloat because I did not pay every last bill in the house, first off. It was certain things she still paid for. She still paid her phone bill. She still paid some of the car notes sometimes. I'm not saying all the time. She paid her car note. but I did not. The insurance, certain things she would pay. So me paying everything in the house, I did not pay for everything in the house. I did help with the mortgage. I did help with some of the lights and stuff like that, but I didn't pay everything in the house. And when I left, like I said, that house is not mine. She had the house way before me. So she was providing for herself way before I even stepped in the picture. She was still doing her own thing. So, and then the $1,600, I've only been paying the $1,600 for the last 4 months. It has been times I've been missing payments because I can't afford to pay it. Because I have bills of my own. I'm trying to rebuild myself. So I have stuff that I have to pay for. So I don't have, like that's what I said, when you take in consideration my output on what I do for myself and be able to pay stuff, I would not have any money left. You can say go get a catering job. It's not that easy. Just like it's not easy to sell a house. You got to have customers to do it. So I don't have, that's why I said I don't have the extra 19, 20. I've been pulling that out of the air, struggling to be able to survive and pay my bills. Because I do have bills too. So that's been the biggest struggle of me saying the $1,900. I had no problem paying the $875 or whatever it was a month, which that comes up to $425 or whatever it is, 400 and some change for Mikhail. But I don't have $1,900. That's a whole check. That is a whole check. You cannot depend on anybody to give me a catering job. That's not how it works. It's a want and a need for that. It's not every day that somebody's saying they want me to come cook food for them, especially at the price. I'm not doing it for no low prices or no low bottoms. I'm just saying it's not an everyday thing that you can get somebody to come and do food. It's 1 million people out here catering, just like it's 1 million people doing real estate. So that being said, like I said, she was paying some of her bills. She was paying her own bills before I got there too. And I'm not saying I didn't take the bulk of the bills. I did, but it was under the assumption that she still was paying some bills in the house, which is her own bills. So yes, I did not get a lawyer after I found out the lawyer was $4,000 for a lawyer that I can't afford because I'm still trying to pay for my stuff. And she does not, we split pretty much. We have Mikhail at the same length of time, a lot of times a month. It's not, he's with me almost every weekend and during the week.
Mrs. Smith, how have you paid for these 5 trips that you have gone on since you're saying you don't have any money?
That's not got nothing to do with this because I don't pay for the trips. That's not my, what does that?
You can continue. Okay, we're on closings now. All right.
Okay. So my question is, that has nothing to do with anything. Whoever pays for me to go on a trip, that's their business. It's not none of their business. If I do go on a trip.
Okay, now I want to open it back up. What do you mean? Whoever pays for these? There's someone paying for you to go on trips.
If I go on a trip and somebody pays.
Okay, never mind. Never mind. Finish, Mr. Smith.
So my thing is, like I said, that the biggest thing is, like I said, is that I still have bills that I have to pay for.
All right. Thank you.
They got to be taken into consideration too, somewhere down the line.
Right. Okay. So let me start with I do not believe you, Mr. Smith. I just simply do not believe you. I do, and I don't like it when because what happens is it starts shaping my view of what information you're lying about and what information you're not lying about, and then I can't tell because I know it makes absolutely no sense. The reasons that you gave or your explanation of your bank account. I don't believe it. I do not believe that you made $2,400 in 6 months on your business when you've already told me you make at least 10. First thing you told me was you said that's not true. I don't make that much. I make about 10 or 11,000. Then all of a sudden it went to 7,000 to 8,000. And literally when we actually went to the bank account, it wasn't even 4,000 from January to June.
Yes, ma'am. But you got the months that you just looked at, that is the slowest peak of season for catering.
It might be. It's not really what I'm looking at. I don't believe you have $7,000 and $8,000 just sitting in your joint account somewhere. I mean, sitting in a savings account somewhere, and people borrowing money and throwing money at you, and $5,000 for people just to send money someplace else. I don't believe it. It's what I'm just saying. I just don't. And so I don't believe that of $40,000 for which all of it came from your regular account. I don't believe it. All right. And if you make $87,000 on your W-2 for your business from the healthcare services, you're already at $7,200 already. And Ms. Bates and Ms. Smith, wanting to get resolve this matter despite you not participating, went on and gave you $7,200 and also took out funds for your other children. Were very, very gracious with regard to these numbers because they could have certainly asked for a significantly amount more. Because I don't believe you just make $7,200 a month. I don't. Even if I gave you what you're telling me you only make $12,000. I recognize that if you put $40,000 in this account you have overhead, you got food, you got those sorts of things. You might have people that are helping you. You have all those things. If I took that in consideration, you was, you know, for the 6 months, you make 20,000, you know, 20,000 of that money might be might be money that you've actually made. But I don't know, because you wouldn't be honest about what you were spending money on, where that money came from. But what I know for certain is you cannot put $4,000 in your joint account. Your wife used $1,400 of it on the bills. You're using money to pay for your stuff, and then you were able to pull over $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 each month, on anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 each month into your account, and have no way of explaining it other than I had money in a savings account. I had money here. A friend gave that to me. It doesn't make sense. So I'm not accepting that. The fact is that your wife, although generally, and I will say this, like when Miss Bates first came in and she told me, okay, this is the alimony case, I'm thinking, okay, we got a 20-year marriage. We didn't. We think we've got a 10-year marriage. We didn't. However, this is one of those clear cases where you admitted that you told her that it was a decision that she was going to make less. And she is going to need an opportunity to bring herself where she should have been or would have been if you had not made that decision. And it's not fair. It's not fair for her to take on this debt, buy furniture, thinking that she's going to be in this marriage for a while and have this debt to be responsible for. It doesn't make any sense for her to think that, you know, her husband's going to pay for a car that he's not going to pay for. And those things, it's not fair. Particularly when the reason for the marriage is based on adultery, and for which you did not deny, and for which, when she brought it to you, you admitted. So, but the adultery is just one piece of the pie of why the court is going to grant alimony. That's one piece. But the main concern that I have is the finances, because there's a lot of financial stuff that she has to now be responsible for based on decisions that you all made together. One of them is losing a significant amount of yearly income, and the other is there is a significant debt and responsibility that you all have, and her income does not allow for her to be responsible for that debt. That's for one. So in consideration of the fact that you also have a business where you're making significant funds for which she is not asking or taking any interest in, the court is being mindful of that. So I am going to grant this case in the manner in which Ms. Bates has made the request for it. I will grant the attorney's fees as well. Because I looked at the $9,750, I gave you 70% of that based upon your income. That would have put it at $6,800 that you could have been responsible for. But I'm going to round that off to the $7,000 that was requested. I am, however, going to put a limit on the time frame for the alimony. I'm going to put a limit of 5 years on the alimony.
Wow.
This is a short marriage. But that will give her an opportunity to pay off this car note that she has, and time frame to pay off all of this debt, because that's essentially what she'll have. So I'm going to grant her her wishes with regard to the case. That's the order of the court.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Bates, if you prepare, I think you've already pretty much prepared it. I do want you to note in there, I'm not sure if you did, the adultery. I also want you to note in there her relinquish of the chef bow. Because I haven't read this, the relinquish of any interest in Chef Bo. And I also want you to note that she will be paying her, that he's not going to be paying the car note, that car note would be her responsibility. Of course, she could pay it out of the alimony, but that car note would be part of her responsibility, because I do find her credible that he indicated he would pay for it. All right, that's the order of the court.
Okay, Your Honor, I'll make the amendments and send them to, who's preparing your orders? I just want to know.
You'll send them to Ms. Harris.
Ms. Harris, okay. I'll do that. I'll make the amendments and send them to her right now.
That's the order of the court.
Okay, may we be excused? Thank you.